Hi, welcome back to Critting After Dark in the Northstrand Hollow. Um,
Is that a question?
yeah, it is. I had to think real hard. I just write Northstrand everywhere now. I don't actually
Hmm.
write that second word. Um,
Because I thought
I
we were something else,
think
somewhere
we're
else.
on episode 7 now. Jesus,
Yeah.
Oh,
it's
are
moving
we?
quick these days.
Well, when we actually get together and play.
Get to play. Um, Last we left off, everyone had awoken in the confluence of Lyria, a swamp somewhere deep in the wilderness here. You all had a bit of a rough time after getting back together and rejoining as a party. You spent a short while in a laboratory left behind by the drow folk of Iris Tell, getting some rest and being rudely awakened by a banshee. A few of you were dropped down and had visions of other places or things, times maybe. Afterwards, Lara saved our dear Tyken from whatever fate he was bound to in that moment. You all spent some time exploring further upriver, whatever direction that may be, you do not know. Eventually arriving at a taiga of some kind, a colder swamp-like area, with a mass of headstones, one of which you did identify correctly by having the ability to read giant. A man by the name of Fellhammer was put there. And as you reached the entry point to the forest here, past this cold grave mire, we took our break, and that's where we'll pick up. As you all have spent, I believe, a short rest right at the end of the last session, I think.
Yeah, I think.
Turn down my music, I'm very
I
sorry.
wouldn't know, really.
It's not important for you. You're
don't
such a
care.
Chad, you never get hurt.
There's also that.
Yeah, we did rest. Because I'm at 4 HP and I rolled 4 rest
Wonderful.
at some point.
You all are standing on the northern edge of this grave mire, the soft ground giving way to some harder earth, the trees rising up around you once again as you start to follow a kind of rough trodden, what looks like maybe a wildlife path in the ground. What do you all do as you begin to enter the forest?
Well, this is damp as shit. We need some cloth or something, for the heat and these damn fucking mosquitoes. I can't take this shit anymore.
I will say as a point of clarification, since we don't really have maps
No,
or
it's
anything.
hot. It's hot. Shut up. Shut up.
That's all you need to know.
Yeah, that was the point, as you guys are starting to move back into a colder region. You start to see what's left of some snow that gathers around the trees. And in fact, could everybody give me a perception check?
Oh yeah, I'm so good at that. Shit was me.
So,
Yeah.
Yanda, are you wearing too many clothes again?
What?
12.
How many layers are you wearing?
Maybe you're not wearing enough, lady.
Well, you said you're hot.
It's none of your beeswax.
I think he's getting a fever.
Hey, 12 on perception, by the way.
14.
Yeah, I rolled poorly, so I'm just gonna say Tyken's just kind of staring off into space, not really
Preoccupied.
paying much attention, just kind of in his own head, his own thoughts.
Hey, Taken, what you thinking about?
Huh? Nothing really.
Well, get yours on the road then. Get a lookout. Come on.
Did you get all our perception checks?
I don't think I have Lara's yet.
Oh, 14.
14. Yeah, so the three of you who are paying closer attention to the road you walk, you begin to notice a kind of strange rune that's carved into a tree nearby on the road. And you start to notice it repeating in places as you guys start to walk down this rough-hewn path in the grass and mud. These trees all seem to be marked with this individual rune. I'm going to go ahead and drop it in one of our channels. Pardon me. Oh, what did I do? There we go. I'll just drop it in lore.
You broke it.
God.
Hopefully this will be viewable. It is. Oh, of course not. Awesome.
Oh, yes,
It
nice.
is
Yeah.
it is a black
A
tree.
beautiful tree.
Yeah, gotta love it.
Wonderful runes. Do you know what this rune is?
Wow. It's so.
It's
Have you
awful-
seen it
it's awful
before?
dark.
Yeah, it is awful.
Well, it is dark, like nighttime right now. Don't you have dark vision, Ty? Like,
Yeah, but it's still pretty dark.
do you need a light? Does anybody have a light? Maybe some
Don't you-
matches?
Don't you
Torches?
have dark vision?
I wouldn't start a fire. You know.
There you go.
I mean, not
I
this
would.
one anyway.
Start fire.
Yeah, but you're
Oh,
crazy.
okay. It's true, I am. Mitra isn't, but I
Oh,
am.
there it is. I see it now.
okay.
Sorry, I was looking at the other tree.
Yep.
Oh. Wait, don't you have your glasses? Wait, I don't remember you having glasses.
I didn't have glasses.
DM, is that rune any part of like a language script or anything that would give further context clues?
Wouldn't that be neat?
or I mean, is that a rune?
You being you, go ahead and
Yeah.
give me a history check, and we'll see
Yeah.
how good your runecraft knowledge is.
You being you? What the fuck
Yeah.
does that mean?
I mean, she's a fucking dumbass barbarian who
Since
just
I
rolled a
was,
fucking
since I
natural
helped-
17, 16 though.
Nice. So since I helped Mitra carve the stones in that portal, the runes for that.
Yeah.
Is it remind me of anything like that?
Yeah, go ahead and give me a history check.
Nope.
Nope. Okay. Mitra, with a 16, you've seen this rune before. You've only seen it a few times over the course of your life, and usually it's indicative of a place being either dangerous or it's kind of a do not pass style rune that's written by a lot of wilder folk. A lot of the exiles use it as a kind of, it's like a survivalist version of like thieves' camps to ward people
Yeah.
off from going in directions.
Yeah. Upon seeing a couple of these runes, Mitra will just briefly disclose to the group that she thinks that we shouldn't venture in that direction. These
Why not?
markings.
You notice that they're
Quite dangerous.
on each boat, like both sides of the road. The trees seem to be marked with it, and all of them are facing out into the woods more than the path. The path itself seems to be fairly good. You don't see any runes carved anywhere, but it just seems to be warning you of going deeper into the actual wood rather than staying on the path.
Yeah, why not? She stops and looks at Shaenda and says, well, these markings typically caution against danger. I'm certain we are not the only folk to have arrived here at some point.
Sure.
So,
We're pretty dangerous ourselves, though.
we are, but
Yeah.
certain there are things neither of us can imagine lurking beyond.
You know, I'm sure they're not so bad. I mean, could really use a bed. You know?
Yes, then maybe we should wait for the creatures we see on our way, rather than venture further to the unknown.
Okay, fine. So we're not following the December, but fine. So where are we going?
Anywhere that doesn't have the markings.
So the way we came then, or the other way we.
She gestures towards the path and says, wherever this leads, yes. Wherever those trees lead. No.
You begin to hear that same strange chitinous clacking noise deeper off in the woods, not nearly as close as before when you were on the shoreline. Before you hear a heavy thumping and smashing noise, the sound of branches breaking. Assumedly, another of those large centipede-like creatures crashing down on prey deep in the woods.
Unless you'd like to meet one of those, Cheyenne.
So what? I'll fucking fucking, go on.
Love this guy.
She does kind of looks at Cheyenne and then turns to look at Lara, and then just kind of shrugs.
I don't want to fight any of those, so wherever you think is safest, let's go.
All right. If I could go ahead and have wilderness survival from whoever is best with that, I guess that would be just a survival roll.
I am.
Yeah. Does anyone beat a +3 to survival?
What my survival is.
I'm not telling you metagaming.
The hell? Nothing's wrong with metagaming like this. Yeah, you loser.
I rolled
And I
a
guess-
What the fuck? You guys are nerds for metagame. What the fuck?
Metagaming is okay sometimes, and in this case, I think it's okay. Anyway, that's a nat 20, so that's a 23 on survival.
Holy shit. Okay. Tyken, you begin following the path as best you can, and at times it becomes almost imperceptible. This is obviously not one that's frequently traveled by the animals. It's not beaten clearly into the ground the way that some are. And not having as much snow as you're used to has made it harder for you to feel comfortable doing it. And the second you lose the path, Mitra just follows as if it's a paved road. You guys take some time moving along. The runes continuing along these trees as best they can. At times there are spaces where you don't notice any, but they're certainly on most trees here on either side of the path. And as you guys push deeper within, the snow becomes heavier. But Mitra follows the path impeccably well, being someone who spent most of her life out here in places like this. You spend roughly an hour walking down the path before you finally arrive at something that isn't just trees and beaten ground. The first thing you all notice are very clearly man-made spiked barricades of some kind made of like tree limbs and logs. And looking a little deeper within, you notice now through the gaps in the trees the top of a large building, some type of a longhouse of some kind out here. But you don't notice smoke or any examples of anything being active here. And as you begin to push forward, you notice now that this longhouse is definitely not being taken care of. It is rather large, not massive by any degree. You guys are mostly from cities, but it's certainly big enough that it would suit a number of people living there, much larger than your small group. You don't hear the sounds of people moving or anything, but you do know you're arriving somewhere where people once were. Before you is the barricades themselves, a small path, and this large building with a set of double doors that face out towards you guys. Mostly wooden construction, and definitely starting to be overgrown in places as the different lichen and things like that begin to grow up its wall, the curved walls of it.
Nature looks about and stops to look at both Tykin and Mora and says, perhaps the two of you want to check the inside, and I'll take a look around the immediate area, and Cheyenne will be watching us. Or you can come with me.
Yeah, I'll come in. Someone else isn't, someone else can watch.
Are you scared, Sayanda?
No. I just don't like staying around.
Alright. You go with the big woman then. Hi, let's go.
Hold on.
I'm okay.
Splitting a party, got it.
Yeah, woohoo.
It's just a couple houses, right? No big deal.
I thought
As
it
you
was
guys-
a longhouse. Single
just-
one now.
So far as you've seen, yes.
Oh,
I mean, I'm sure there's a couple behind, right? It's a big house with stuff behind it, right? That's how it works. I mean, who builds a big house?
right?
And
Right?
nothing else.
What kind of fucking idiot does that? I'm kidding. I'm sorry, dear. Please be me. Pretend I didn't just say that. Go.
We'll go ahead and start with it's Lara and Tyken that are going inside the house first, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Sure. I love that.
As you guys begin to step through, the front doors are unlocked. You don't sense a presence of a threat or anything, just going inside. Inside, the first thing you notice is for lack of a better term, some form of a struggle that must have happened there a good time ago. You notice pieces of a shattered blade, fairly long, probably a longsword of some kind, that dot the floor here. With a detect magic, you do not notice anything magic in this place. 40 feet, you said?
30 feet radius. I don't know how. Yeah.
No.
I assume, okay.
But you find the shattered blade, pieces of it kind of sparkling along the floor. You notice a large old bloodstain that sits on top of a simple carving of a compass of some kind in the floor, in the center of this large longhouse space. You look off to one direction, now following the compass, and the western direction, the western door, has been absolutely sundered in some way. The door itself, the pieces are all across the floor, dotting most of the floor in that western section of the building. The door frame itself has been crushed in one section and is mangled. You do start to notice that the blood is trailing off through the eastern door, but it's a lot. Like, certainly enough to have killed whatever was going that direction. There are barrels about, chests about. There are 4 bunks in here, small beds, that would fit most of you, although Mitra would have a little bit of trouble. Not too much, being small for a Goliath. The space itself would have been very nice in its time, but it certainly had too much time with nature. The table belies a meal long since eaten by scavengers here in this forest. The plates themselves are muddied but somehow licked clean wherever food was, and you can see the distinct difference between the way a person eats and the way animals drag things about. The eastern door and the southern door that you entered through seem fine. To the north is just a simple wall on which is what looks like a very simple hand-drawn map that denotes a mine further north. Maybe where these people would have worked at some point, but certainly old and starting to yellow. The hide that's pulled tight on this frame is starting to peel in corners, showing the map has not been used, touched, or cared for in a long time. And that's about it on the inside currently. Certainly a livable space.
Okay, can I look around for any kind of like root cellar? See
Yeah.
if there's anything that might have been like any preservatives, any food might have stuff
Yeah.
still around it.
I'd like to help.
Okay.
But I'll first check out the further surroundings to make sure it's safe.
Okay. Go ahead and give me an investigation check then, Tyken, as you start to look for a cellar.
18.
Wow. You take a moment stepping into this kind of side kitchen area where they've got a few cabinets and things. And you do notice a small hatch off to the one side of the cabinet. It's kind of near to where the table lies with the plates that have been, scattered and smashed in places. You flip open the door there, and you do notice like a small deposit of what look like jarred goods of some kind. It just is mostly fruit, it seems, but other than that, everything has pretty well been picked through as you start to search the cabinets and things. Any remains of goods are long since rotten, but the jarred goods do look fine and untouched by nature, other than the fact that they've kind of sunken into the soft ground under the hatch. But pulling them out and cleaning them off, they all look sealed and in well repair. So, couldn't have been too long ago that all of this was still being used by people.
Like I said, I'll pull everything and gather it and just kind of set in the middle, like on the table or something.
Okay. You clear a small space on the table. And you notice that the carnage that's in this room, the long trail of blood and the shattered sword and the broken door, they kind of denote that this whole battle took place almost sprinting through the middle of this space. The actual beds and things are still tidily made, although dusty and kind of uncared for. Some of the blankets have been pulled off over time by nesting creatures, but it seems like most of this place is still in pretty good repair, other than just being dusty and old. Do with that what you will. And then we'll step outside to Mitra and our dear Shyenda.
Oh, hey, so what are we doing?
We're just looking around the area, not venturing too far. Just
Oh,
to
great.
see.
Well, what does that say anyway? It's just a stupid camp. Although, you think they have a larder? Cheese, wheels of cheese down there.
He shrugs, maybe. If they stayed here
yeah.
for an amount
Don't-
of time.
Don't tell me I've been traveling with someone who doesn't like cheese, have I?
She looks at you before this kind of like offering like really a non-committal shrug, like, well, we can talk about cheese and wills later.
Later.
Let's
Okay.
Yeah, let's just get the lay of the land. We're not going too far.
The lay of what?
Because the lay of the land, how everything looks. What's the soil like, or if there's signs of more recent visitors of the sort, just to see that we're not walking into some sort of very elaborate trap.
Oh yeah, that would be very elaborate because it doesn't look great here.
Indeed, but even the desperate will let down their guards, won't they?
Especially if they have cheese in the larder.
Especially if they have cheese in the larder. Yes, right.
So I feel like if there was someone waiting to ambush us, right about now would have been the time they did it. But since it didn't, the area is pretty clear.
If you say so, I can trust your wisdom.
Yeah, I mean 100% you can. So let's get back inside and let's figure out what we eat tonight, right? Let's fucking go! And beds and let's go.
He gestures towards the monkhouse. Like,
Do you have any carpenting skills, maybe?
No.
No. Okay. Well, I thought I should ask this. I mean, you know how to cut things, so I guess you have some skills. Cause I will need an apprentice here. Okay.
What about the girl,
Who?
Lara?
Oh, no. Oh, no. Gee, that's not the thing at all. At all.
Yeah, well, sure. Well, I just look for this.
Okay, I'll just
and
tell you what to cut, and then you cut
Yes.
it, right? It's all about measurements, and I mean, numbers, right? Big words and stuff, but numbers.
Yeah, I can go up to 20.
Wow, that's good. That's good. Not enough, but good.
There's more?
Yeah. There's more. There's way more. So you're. I mean, I'm sure you've been once in your life assailed by a multitude of opponents. Probably more than 20, right?
Maybe. It doesn't matter at that point, does it? There's a lot.
Yeah, I guess. I'm really hungry now. I'm gonna go inside and try and find something. But I should get back into painting. I should paint a battle where you're on the hilltop, and then there's, I don't know, 20 tiny Tychons trying to kill you, and you kill them instead. Yeah.
She just kind of like in disbelief as to what she's hearing, and it's like, yes, yeah.
This place really is, like, yeah, it's really working for me.
Well, that's good. Let's head inside then and look for that wheel of cheese.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'll be there. Actually, I'm gonna cast locate object to try and maybe find the nearest wheel of cheese.
Okay.
But it's like, sort of like naturally it's like this pendant sort of like comes out, starts floating a bit, and there's like an image of an arcane image of a wheel of cheese that pops in the air.
Definitely. As you cast the spell, you feel your necklace pulling you off to the right side of the house. There's a circular path that wraps around the place in general, and you're pulled in that direction, not into the house, but rather further off to the right side. What would be east if you guys had seen the compass inside?
Well, I'm going that way.
Okay.
Well,
Mitra, heading along?
Yes, you'll follow.
Okay. As you guys wrap around this longhouse space, it doesn't take you too long to get around to the other side, and you now notice the door here on the eastern side. Still shut, I presume, unless the people inside have decided to come out of it. Was there anything, Laura? Okay.
No.
There was a speed to the unmute. As you guys begin wrapping around Shayenda and Mitra, you notice what looks like a large place to store firewood, like this kind of heavy rack that's got a lot of wood on it, but it's mostly snowed through and kind of starting to, not rot, but certainly grow some algae and getting gross. It's not covered in any way right now. You do notice in the ground here, wherever there isn't snow covering, you start to see these kind of old bloodstains that are trailing along the path that heads east. And they're starting to head into the woods proper rather than be right here against the longhouse. But you're still feeling yourself pulled in the same direction as the bloodstains, Shanda.
Jeez.
Mitra will take stock of where the blood trail is leading to, and when she sees it go into the woods, it's kind of like I'm not surprised, but I'm not happy to learn that it went that way anyway. But for now, she is going to kind of stay close to Shayenda.
Shayenda, are you still following the pull of your arcanely located cheese wheel?
I mean, yeah.
Okay. As you guys keep following this kind of rough-hewn path, there are actually long wooden rods that have been pushed down into the dirt to give this some solidity here in this marshy area. And that's where you're seeing a lot of these blood stains, but eventually they trail off the path a little bit to the right, back behind this kind of larger tree in the area. And you're feeling yourself pulled along the path still, deeper into the wood. But right now you notice that the bloodstains are starting to kind of peel off into the right side of this path and up against this tree. You guys would pretty much immediately notice... Will I find my note?
Yeah. I mean, at this point, I'd be like, maybe considering how much of a body is that,
Yeah. You arrive upon the form of a man. The only reason you even notice him, the snow covers most of him, but his sword arm is broken in several places and is kind of snapped up and holding itself aloft in the air. The chain shirt has frozen around it, holding it up, and he's still holding the hilt of his sword, although the blade is snapped off at the crossguard. The arm shattered in several places, and the body itself looks to be crushed in on one side. The chain kind of mingling with what's left of a mostly frozen corpse. But amongst his things lie a backpack of which a large cheese wheel is sitting. Inside of it, just kind of poking out about halfway. And he's a human of some kind, although it's hard to tell if it was a male or a female. The body is pretty well destroyed, other than the arm that sticks out, still grasping things. Whatever battered him was something with immense physical strength. And it didn't take its body with it, so you wouldn't assume an animal.
Mitra,
Yes.
this is going to be delicate.
What do you have in mind?
Well,
I'm gonna cast Mage Hand and grab the wheel of cheese. So the
I
wheel
will
of
say,
cheese
this is a fairly large wheel of cheese.
Well,
What can
I'm gonna
Mage Hand
try.
lift? Your Mage Hand lift, I guess.
I don't know.
Your invisible, all-powerful Mage Hand.
Blah blah blah. It's just the range that's increased. I mean, as a bonus action, I can also shove people.
Yep.
So I guess that's the kind of strength I have. So if you think the strength of shoving someone is enough to lift that cheese
Yeah,
wheel, then-
I mean, it's certainly not a massive cheese wheel. It takes you a moment to kind of pull and push this thing out of the pack. The pack is still wrapped around that shattered arm holding the sword, the remains of the sword. And as you kind of push the pack and the cheese, the arm makes this loud crunching noise in the snow. But the cheese wheel does come free eventually, and you float it over to yourself.
I'll grab it and carry it under my arm.
Yep. Mitra, are you still carrying the black eye?
She certainly is, unless Tyke
Don't tell me,
anything
like,
else.
No, I
He's
know.
awful.
You picked it up, if I remember right.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
know,
Good
man.
she did.
Okay. I will keep that in mind. But you do get
Alright.
your cheese wheel. You find one corpse, and you notice there's still blood going down the path further into the wood.
well, now we need bread. You think the next corpse will have bread?
Cheyenne, I think we got really lucky with this. That is.
Yeah, I mean, it's free cheese.
I don't know if it was free, but
It was free. I mean,
well, if you want to check the next corpse and get bread, you can. But I'm interested in seeing what the others have found or not found.
alright, well, you go tell him, I'll go down.
And
Oh, wait, bring that back. Bring that back in.
I'll give you the wheel of cheese.
Her hands are full now.
Yeah, both hands, a big wheel of cheese, a big black stone. Shinda, will you roll me to see if your wild magic pops off in this moment?
Oh, what do I do? Roll d20, right? I roll
believe
one.
so.
8.
8.
With no wild magic.
We're good. No wild magic.
Yeah.
Beautiful thing.
That's wild.
That's
Okay. So Shinda, you're pushing deeper into the woods. Mitra, are you going with or going back?
Mitra's going to just stand there and watch. Like, she's not leaving. She's just gonna observe from a distance.
Shinda, you
Watching a
push.
dumpster fire.
Are you trying to be sneaky in this moment, or are you just kind of boldly walking deeper into
I
the woods?
mean,
he's not an idiot.
He's not an idiot. As he
Go ahead and roll me
puts
stealth
forward the bread.
he's just very hungry.
Respects.
But
rations.
not eating fucking rations anymore. Cheese and bread.
We put that on a shirt, Kyle. Cheese and bread, yo.
Done.
How's that stealth roll, Shinda?
Oh yeah, I have to roll. Oh, that's a natural one. Okay.
You tread deeper into the wood, and you feel like you're being pretty sneaky, but every step seems to snap a branch or make you stumble loudly in the forest. You push for a good little while, almost out of your sight, Mitra. As the woods grow denser and the snow grows higher, it's starting to get harder and harder to keep up with watching where your friend treads. Eventually, you arrive at a campsite. It looks like tents have been put up, but they've been smashed to pieces. There are 3 bodies that lay in a pile at the center of the camp and are obliterated, for lack of a better term. They're completely unrecognizable, mostly humanoid in shape, most of them missing limbs and gnawed to the bone. There are things here. You know, there's all the setup you would need for making food in terms of like pots and pans. And it looks like these people bolted from their home, traveled for a time along this path, set up camp, and then were killed by whatever attacked them initially or something else here in these woods.
Does it look like they were coming from the longhouse or something?
Yes. You've been following this blood trail as you walk, and it's not as persistent as the one from the other body you found. It's much more thin, but it's still easily noticeable against the wood and things, these weird stains that follow. And the trickle becomes a flood as you arrive at the camp, as these bodies are just... Yeah, they're destroyed.
But it's not very far though. It's like they just went like a few.
Yeah, they went like probably a kilometer. They didn't go far. You're not moving by any means. And they thought they were safe, but they weren't. The first thought that comes to your head being a survivor is just foolish to not keep moving if you were being chased. But they're mangled, their tents are mangled, their belongings are here. I mean, you could search through things and find most of what you would need to set up a campsite like this, other than the tents. But everything is soaked in viscera that is long since shriveled up and become a mess.
I guess you sort of like, be like, look around a bit, be like, hello? Hello?
Your voice rings through the woods, deadened by the snow and the trees. No response.
Okay then. And we will inventorize the whole camp.
Okay. For now, I'll send you everything later, but for now, we'll say you have what you need to set up a camp somewhere if you needed to, mostly.
I mean, Ronnie, he doesn't want to take it. He just want to, like, sort everything and put them
just
on
know
the
it's all
ground.
there.
Rows of stuff that
And you would notice in terms of like the food supplies and things that they brought, it seems like anything that they brought that was open food has been destroyed, taken, or dragged away and eaten by small animals. The bodies seem to have been eaten in much the same manner, but they have a few jars of jarred and canned goods that seem fine. You could probably bring them back with you to add to the supply.
But outside of that, do they have anything of value on them?
I mean, there's a couple of short swords and some small shields. They have gear,
right?
But
I mean, you know what I mean? It's like, basically, I'm trying to figure out whether they got killed by something, by an animal, where they were robbed.
They certainly have, they're wearing necklaces and they have rings on what is left of fingers. These people were not scavenged by humans who would take things of value.
Okay. And last question, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't suppose it's possible to determine any kind of cause of death because it's.
Give me a medicine check.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not an easy one check, but you could try.
I don't really know anything about medicine, so I'll pass.
Okay.
I'll consider those two mangled to really do anything about it.
Yeah.
I'll just, spend some time just inventorizing and see what we can. I'm mostly interested in stuff to make food and stuff to live with, not valuable stuff.
Yeah. I will get a list typed out for you eventually, but for now, we'll say that's you'll have pretty much anything you would need between this camp and then going back to the longhouse proper. Mitra, your friend has been gone for probably 10 minutes, 15 minutes from your site at least now. And you do start to hear the loose echoes of a hello ringing through the woods.
There's just so much that's going wrong in her head. and it's just kind of she can't verbalize it. And she knows the safest place would be to go back to the longhouse.
Indeed.
But what this other part of her says, even if someone's being what she thinks is fucking stupid. There's no point leaving them alone. Even if that makes her also fucking stupid. So, you know, maybe after a while, especially when she hears the hello, she's gonna like just make her way towards where she had saw Cheyenne travel.
Okay. And it doesn't take you too long. Maybe, 15 minutes of walking before you arrive at Cheyenne, kind of going over everything in this camp, and it is just a scene of death and like old gore. Everything is, deep blacks and reds. Pretty much everything here is soaked in people juice.
People juice. Mitra kind of like. It's not a weird scene. It's a very kind of like it's very pragmatic. They're dead. They don't have any use for their belongings anymore. This is a thing that she has witnessed many times before, particularly as she grew up.
Yep.
So she's not like disgusted or disappointed with Cheyenne or anything. It's just kind of like, oh, that's grim. and it does like hammer in the point that whatever has happened to the group does not seem to be an extremely unique thing that has happened. Maybe unique enough, right? Like, what are the odds, right? Like, what are the odds? More than 20 people, that's a lot of people, have ended up here. So she's going to stop by each of the bodies and mutter a very small prayer for them, in the hopes that they didn't die too painfully and have their death be dragged out forever.
Yeah.
Because that would suck. But that's it. She's just gonna kind of nestle that in the recesses of her mind.
But you both take some time over the corpses.
Yeah.
Anything else, Mitra?
I mean, once she's paid her respects to the corpses, she will turn back to Cheyenne and say, "Did you find the bread you were looking for?"
Oh, well, not yet, but they'll be there. Probably, probably.
Probably, she says. She repeats.
Bread is a staple of traveling, okay? And of
Okay.
cheese.
If you say so, Cheyenne. While Cheyenne is busy with his hard work, she's going to take a look at some of the nearby trees to see if any of the earlier runes are scribed onto any of them.
Yeah, go ahead and give me an investigation check, Mitra.
Ugly dokley.
I know it's a strong suit being a barbarian.
That is an 8 - 1, so 7.
Beautiful. Luckily, this isn't an exactly hard check. As you start to look around, the trees here are indeed marked with that same rune. But you take an even closer look as you're going over a few of the bodies, and one of the bodies towards the outside of the camp, he looks to have crawled as far as he could. His legs are completely torn off at the knees. And on a rock near to his form, he wrote that same rune in his blood as he died.
Yeah, it's just kind of like a cool. She wouldn't use the word cool, but
Yeah.
it's something to a similar effect. It's giant, so there you go.
Yeah.
That's it. That's it. So after divining this information, she's going to turn around and look at Cheyenne for a couple seconds without saying anything, before she says calmly, "I think it's best we return to whence we came. It is dangerous here."
You have to speak louder.
She doesn't. She instead just walks closer to him. And then she gets down to her knee. So she's kind of like closer to Cheyenne. And she repeats, "I think it's best we return. It is dangerous here."
Not really. I haven't been attacked yet.
Do you want to be?
No, but it seems pretty safe. Never been
Everything
attacked by
is
a corpse
safe.
before, so...
Everything is safe until it isn't, Cheyenne. I'm sure that you have things you want to do.
Yeah, find some bread. So until I find some, I'll be here.
She nods and gets up and considers her options for a moment. Consider them a bit more, you know. So of course she's already been what is fucking stupid in her mind, and she doesn't want to be like morbidly stupid. And it's just kind of treading into that area that like she's very conflicted, so she goes very quiet for a while Shanda's doing his thing. Then after an extended period of silence, she decides to help him look for his bread. Path of least resistance.
There we go. Okay, you look over that pot over there. Now look into this pot over here. And don't forget the crate over there, okay? And look right at the bottom and make sure there's no false bottom. Because it might be in there.
I warn you now, Shanda, if we get attacked, I am leaving the cheese.
Just throw it my way.
And then she goes to help out.
Go ahead and both of you give me investigation, or one of you at advantage.
Ooh. Investigation.
Yeah, Shanda can do it with advantage. Wait a
can't do it
minute,
with advantage.
you're a sorcerer, aren't you? Yeah, what doesn't matter.
You don't-
Metagaming.
That's garbage. Okay, that's 14.
14.
14 for bread.
You take some time looking over mostly the areas where the tents were rather than the bodies. And you do notice what looks like these kind of small hand-woven baskets that would have probably held bread. They're long since picked clean. But eventually you do find some cans on one of the bigger, heavier set guys' bodies. And opening one up, you do realize it has like these kind of bready crackers that are in there that seem to be fairly tightly packed so that they stay pretty safe over a fairly long period of time inside the cans.
So essentially hardtack.
Kind of. It's much softer than hardtack. Yeah, but it's like a soft cracker.
No, you should have gave him hardtack.
Nah, can't do that to somebody, man. Not in good conscience. Oh no, did we lose an Asher?
Asher.
Oh, we didn't even really lose an Asher. We just
Yeah,
lost an
don't
Asher
worry about
cam.
No, it's just sometimes it acts up.
It happens.
Then you feed it some bread and it's fine.
I just want to say I have been worried for the past 20 minutes that my house was burning down, and I finally got the response text that yes, someone is cooking. Can't stand these people.
Is the house burning?
Well,
Yeah, I
wait.
sent the text out,
No,
no
we're
reply
bad,
for
mate.
like 20 minutes.
Well, are they really cooking? If it
Or are
smells
they
like-
just
are
burning
they
shit?
just
Yeah.
burning shit?
What the fuck's going on up here?
Connor, we're not trying to burn the house down around you. You're being insane. I'm cooking, okay?
We're just
Come
cooking
on,
marshmallows.
Yeah. More gasoline, hurry up. Yeah, you're insane, dude. You're
You
insane.
just stay in there, keep recording, bro.
Yeah. Aurora Borealis.
It's cooking great.
This time of year, in this location.
Localized entirely within our house. Yes.
Don't worry about it. If you hear silence, just stay in your room. It's not us. It's not us. We're not
Gotta
here.
be the neighbors.
Yeah.
Okay,
Alright,
but
so
you do
fun-
find
fun
your
and stuff
bread
back.
as close as you can. 2 bread.
Oh man. Okay, I found some. Well, it's a sorry excuse for bread, but I guess you take what you can get.
You can mark down 3 tins of bread.
They'll be gone by tonight, so whatever.
Happy bread. Let's fucking go.
I guess.
For the 2 of you,
well, that's
back in
happening.
the house. Yeah.
After I would have put all this stuff on the table, I would have gone outside to grab Shainda and Mitra and just let them know it's all safe to come in and realize they're not there.
Mhm.
So I'll walk back in and go, Lara?
Yeah, Ty?
Shainda and Mitra are gone.
What do you mean gone?
I mean, they're not outside. Aren't they supposed to be watching?
Yeah.
Well, they're not out there anymore. They're probably dead at this point. It's been.
That's literally what I meant.
They're not dead. Okay. Shayenda's too old to die that easily.
Too old to die.
It means he has experience, okay? I've known him longer than today. He can take care of himself.
No, I
and,
think
well,
they're dead. I think it's just the two of us now.
don't be silly.
I mean, there's like you saw all the blood. What if whatever did this did that to them?
Look, how about I'll go look. If anything bad happens, I'll call out. I won't go far.
I don't think that's a good idea.
Well, what would you rather do? Do you want to stay in here?
Kinda. Seems to be relatively safe in here.
Generally,
Obviously, there was something up there that got them.
so you wish to just barricade this up.
At least for the night.
Can I look around the house to see if there's any way to even barricade this house?
Yeah, there's tables, barrels. There's plenty of ways you could do that. The barrels would be a little harder. You probably have to jam them up under the large handles on the doors, these kind of wooden ones. But yeah, you could certainly barricade this place up. Other than that, the western door, it's smashed to a point where it would take most of the tables and things just to block it, leaving the others to be able to be opened just by hand. But
All right. Okay, how about this? We start working on the house. They will definitely come back, and you'll see that they're alive. If they don't come back in the morning, we both go out to look. Well, yeah.
Okay. We'll start helping barricade up the house.
okay. Do you guys start with the eastern door or the southern door?
I think we'll probably whichever one. It doesn't think it matters. Whichever one that's not.
Eastern door.
Yeah, the one that's gonna take everything. I think we'll probably just leave that open. That's
Yeah.
the one point of entrance
Yeah.
that we can cover and block everything
Yes.
else, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. You guys begin doing that, and maybe 15 minutes in to getting ready to start doing that, your friends arrive back at camp, more
as
than
soon as
likely.
anything comes through one of those doors, Sacred Flame.
Okay. Tyke's jumpy today.
Yeah.
Mitra, why don't you go ahead and give me a dexterity saving throw to see if you dodge this sacred flame?
He died.
Ugly Dokra.
He died from nothing touching him.
That's an 11.
Yeah, you failed that dex save, right?
I don't know. What's your spell save DC?
Why
Why you asking me?
Probably more than 11.
Yeah, dex 14.
Dex 14. Yeah, that hit. Damage
7 points.
7. Wow. Now he wants to be a big hitter.
Mitra, is your danger senses active at all times, correct?
Yeah.
Did you roll that at advantage?
Did I? Let me try again.
Just point of clarity, it is
Oh,
barbarian.
17.
Okay. Then you save. Nothing happens.
You hold a hand out, the holy symbol burning in your glove, before you just see Mitra arriving with a large cheese wheel and the black eye of Iris Tell in each arm.
So two
Yeah.
they were alive. Did you just attack them?
No.
Mitra's just kind of like stop still, and it's kind of like, huh. Kind of like, huh. I felt like something really bad was gonna happen. She doesn't vocalize this, but she's like looking at between the two of them.
Well, glad you guys are okay.
Did you guys find anything?
Mitra just
Fuck
kind
yeah.
of like.
Yeah.
Mitra just shrugs, and you know what? She kind of the wheel her cheese towards Laura.
I'm gonna grab that with me, hand.
Hey,
Yeah.
Careful
it
with the
stops
bird,
short.
guys.
So basically, you'll throw it, and like Laura
It
will
just
be ready to
stops
catch it. I guess, oh, you brought flying cheese.
Then it glides to me, and I grab it.
Interesting. Where did you find this floating cheese?
Over there. There was someone hiding. Before?
You took floating cheese from someone,
Yeah.
and this someone was alive.
No,
I didn't check.
I doubt they're alive. There was a lot of blood.
Yeah, that seems obvious. So I didn't check, but I mean, I guess everything's possible.
Well, there's a lot of blood inside here as well. So far this place seems safe-ish, apart from the huge opening over there.
Well, it's
we were
better than
think-
that cave we were in before. I can tell you that. So
Yeah, we were thinking of, doing what we can to make sure this place is as safe as possible. We haven't checked every nook and cranny just yet, but some help would be nice.
is there a larder?
Maybe.
Basement?
There's
Maybe.
a cellar with like canned food stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
Kind of point
Okay.
over to the table with all the stuff. You want to put the cheese over there. The other
Uh-huh.
stuff we found.
Sure. I'll drop the cheese.
But don't cut it.
Well,
Ha
No.
ha ha ha.
okay.
Proud father, by the way.
Right.
So, you guys collect your supplies up on this dinner table. There's a small basin in that kitchen space that you guys could lay all the plates in and eventually get some water and wash them off in. This place is certainly fixable. You know, with some love and care, you could become a place you could survive in. Though you'll need to be able to find a consistent, source of supplies eventually. The canned goods will last you a good while, though, so it's definitely a boon to find.
You already have a pot or something in here?
Yeah, there's a few pots that are in that kitchen space, and there's a small, like campfire space that's just outside of that southern door you guys arrived at that you could cook at.
Then Shanda's gonna start on that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Once all the food's kind of gathered at the table, I'm just gonna do a quick detect poison disease on it, just to make sure it's edible. It's not gonna kill any of us.
Yeah. A couple of the jars have cracked their seals, just from wear and tear and being under, the earth. The cold and heat changing over seasons maybe busted them. But other than that, everything seems very safe to eat. Luckily, you're good at identifying when things could make you sick, so. Well, not you specifically,
But
but
others, I don't
Your
want
friends.
other people. I don't want my friends to get sick and die. That'd be bad.
not exactly any doctors in these woods.
Exactly.
But yeah, you toss the few that are bad out, and you're left with a fairly good supply, probably more than a month's worth, if you guys ration very steeply. But that would be stretching it, and certainly a few of you losing some weight over the course of that month.
I can't lose any more weight.
Yeah, Cheyenne will straight up die.
Shanda has no plans of rationing anything anyway.
Leave the man his cheese. He's earned it. So do you guys continue barricading that eastern or southern door?
Yes, I think so.
And
As you guys are moving, there are some empty barrels, and then as you actually move them, you do end up finding one much heavier barrel, and you realize it's an untapped barrel of ale of some kind that's been brought out here. But moving it will make it a good barricade, but also if something comes busting in, may bust your barrel of ale, so keep that in mind. And as you guys start to look through the chests and things, you find blankets and some like warm clothes. You find one of the chests actually has like a little wooden parcel of wine, like bottles. You find a lot of supplies here, like a surprising quantity. These people definitely were expecting to be here for a while, but things got in the way of that.
real quick, DM, I just remembered this.
Yeah.
When I cast that detect magic earlier, did it ping off that dagger that's in my backpack that I got from Mara?
Absolutely.
What's the school of magic on that?
Give me 2 seconds, because I never remember my schools of magic. Blizzard player, by the way.
Dang it.
Is it something Asian? Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, no.
Station.
It's an enchantment spell,
Shame.
obviously. I don't know who wrote this guide, but they are absolutely hilarious. I'm 2 sentences in, and there's a goddammit shit fuck. But yeah, it is an enchanted dagger of some kind, though you don't know what the enchantment is.
Right. That's all I'm getting off of it anyway.
Indeed.
Don't have identify. So, I take it we're just gonna, finish up the barricading. We have one.
Yeah.
Cook some grub. Kind of rest the rest of the night, I assume.
Yeah. Oh yeah. While I do that, I sort of, explore the longhouse and look at the map.
The map itself is exceptionally simple. As you take a look over it, it is a very shoddily drawn longhouse in the center. Off to the east is the symbol for the camp, like it's a little camp symbol, as if maybe a backup or even an exploratory camp of some kind for them. And then to the north, there's the symbol for the mine. And then off to the west is basically just like a symbol of cattails and reeds, and kind of water. You assume maybe a symbol for a swamp. But it's all hand-drawn and certainly not by a cartographer. It's very, very simple and indicative of just them trying to get the lay of the land as they were here.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Do I have enough 3D awareness to pinpoint where that creepy symbol we saw would be?
The one that you and Mitra saw, the hand-drawn symbol, it'd be right outside that camp, just a little further east along the road.
Yeah, I guess that sort of like draw that on the map.
Okay. Mitra, I would say, you being a wilder, someone who's been here, in environments like this your whole life, you have probably seen people use their dying life to try and warn the next person that comes to a place. Not with this symbol in particular, but you've certainly seen people try to leave a way for people to know this place is dangerous. And them to do more than just lay there and die, they try to warn the next passerby. And that certainly is the feeling you got from that symbol back there on the rock. Is like, this guy's about to die, and he's like, maybe I can save someone else from going this way.
I'm not sure if Shainda told Laura and Hiking, but she's just going to briefly retell what Shainda and herself witnessed not particularly far from the longhouse. And then she'll cap it off with, this place is all sorts of dangerous.
Already established that. Good to know, maybe not go that direction.
And as you're drawing on the map, would you give me a investigation roll?
Oh my god. Okay. 17.
You would notice off to one side, there's like a very small marker near that marsh symbol on the western side of the map. And it is that same rune that you keep seeing everywhere, somewhere. Just kind of mixed in with the little symbols of reeds is another simple version of that rune.
Yeah. I guess I'll sort of like try and sharpen it so it's easier to see.
Yep. But you do notice it's a fair space from the marsh. It almost looks like somebody just accidentally nicked it with their quill as they were starting to do something. But then you realize it's that same rune, so it couldn't be an accident. More than just telling you something deeper within is probably an issue.
Okay, or maybe pinpoint something specific.
Maybe. And would you give me a survival roll as you cook dinner for the party?
Oh shit! I'm going through the gauntlet. What the fuck?
I would say, give it to me at advantage because you have already stated you are a cook. This is what you do. You enjoy cooking,
Yeah.
so
I'm just not good at survival.
yeah, I know.
Let
That's what
that
the
boy
advantage
cook.
is for.
Okay, so that's 16 minus 2. And that's 7 minus 2. So I'll take the 16 if you don't mind. That's
Yeah.
a 14.
Okay. You guys are cooked the first real meal you've had since leaving Ice Barrow. The mushroom stews of your dear friend Winter in the Winter's Rest. And honestly, Shainda does just about as well as she does with much less supply. It's a good meal. You know, it's breads and cheeses and probably a hearty soup of some kind, heavy vegetables from one of the jars, cooked down, made full and rich. And it is much more filling than the simple road rations you've all been eating for a matter of days now. And eventually, over the course of the rest of the evening, you guys get those 2 doors that are there, barricaded fairly well, moving tables around and chairs, things like that. Before settling in to rest. Mitra, the bed is moderately small for you, but curling up, you certainly can fit on it. But for the rest of you, these beds are fine. If a little smelly, just because they've been left alone for quite some time. But you all fall to rest unless there's anything else for the evening.
I may have missed this because I was looking up stuff and thinking. That map show our location.
Yeah, it shows where the longhouse is. But it's very clear that they started from the longhouse, and as they explored out, they just kept marking things.
Gotcha.
Unless it's a different longhouse.
I guess before bed, and I guess while we're eating or camping, whatever you want to call it, I'll pull that dagger out and give it back to Lara. I didn't really find out much. It's enchanted of some kind. I don't, know much else about it. Just look, is there any kind of maker's mark on it?
Give me an investigation check real quick. As you take a closer, prying eye.
Natural 20 for a 23.
Oh, shit.
I know it all.
Yeah, you know so much. It takes you a good long while as you were looking over it during your spell earlier. You've seen the symbol once before. It is the symbol that stood over the store in your vision. In the blacksmith shop that you saw. But you don't know who the maker is per se. You
Right.
just know the maker's mark.
I recognize the symbol used.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll keep that part to myself.
Yep.
But I'll give it back to Lara.
So I can use it without hurting myself?
No, it's definitely enchanted. What kind of enchantment? I don't know. So if it's gonna keep hurting you, I would say not use it.
So what you're saying, it's magical.
Sort of, yeah, kinda.
And whatever magic is on it is evil?
Potentially. I mean, if it's hurting you or trying to hurt you when you use it, potentially. Or some sort of, could also be a protection device from somebody using the knife in general. Like the owner didn't want anyone to use it, using it to protect. I don't know. I mean, I can hang on to it if you don't want to use it.
No, can't you take it off?
The enchantment?
Yeah,
Yeah, no, I don't have that kind of skill.
I don't understand. Didn't you with the needle also figure out how it worked?
Kind of. That required me to sit with it.
So why can't you sit with this one?
Because that hurt you. I don't want it to hurt me.
So if you sit with it, it might hurt you, but you'll figure out how it stops the hurting, and you don't want to do that.
No, I don't know that I will figure out how to stop
So you're afraid of a dagger and a bit of pain.
I think clearly so are you. But I'll just hang on to it if you don't want to use it. I'll just start putting it back in my backpack.
I'll hold on to it. Knowing you, do you even know how to use daggers?
I mean, sure, you stick them with the pointy end.
I will hold on to it.
Back.
Speaking of which, I'll just like look around quickly to see if any of the others are there, or at least in hearing distance, and I'll be whispering to Ty. Did you hear any more of your voices, or have any more weird dreams?
I mean, not really.
Okay, just let me know if you have any.
Speaking of weird voices, what did you chase after?
Ty, we've been over this. I am not ready to talk about it.
Right. That's a little bit different than mine. Right? I've heard voices. Sure, there was the voice in the hole.
Yeah, the hole that you wanted to go into and die?
Right. I knew where that led.
You're deaf.
Right. Possibly. Do you know where that thing was leading you, or whatever it was you were chasing was leading you?
No, but I didn't try and walk to my death.
Right. As did I. Right? I didn't try to walk to
You
my death.
did.
either.
Mitra stopped you from dying.
No, not necessarily.
Yes, she did.
You ran completely after something. No one knows where. I knew where that hole was.
What are you trying to say, Ty?
I'm just trying to understand. Is that going to happen again?
No, it's not.
Are you sure?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
About as sure as I'm done with this conversation.
I'm not trying to whisper, so everybody can hear this.
Yeah. Also, how competent of a liar do you think you are,
Me?
Tyken? Yes.
I mean, I can roll a deception check if you want me to.
I don't like forcing roleplay in that way. Do you
Right.
feel that Tyken is good at lying to his sister? I mean, it is an important thing, but I don't want to leave it up to the dice.
I would say it's probably pretty easy considering we
Yeah,
haven't spent
we haven't
too much
right.
time together lately.
Right.
So, yeah.
That was kind of my thought too.
Okay.
But at the same time, if you want to, if there wants
Not
to
at
be
all.
a roll,
You guys are strangers in a strange place. Tensions
Essentially-
are high.
essentially. But at the same time, that's my sister, and I care.
Yeah, but you also
Please.
don't have these talks frequently.
Exactly.
Please don't bring this up again. It just annoys me.
Well, I'm gonna annoy you, regardless. I'm gonna bring it up until you talk about it.
Excuse you?
And Yep.
You walk up?
As far as I mean, I guess walk off what I can walk off to. I'm
The longhouse is fairly large.
It's a
You can move a
longhouse.
fair way, yeah.
It's in there. It's long.
to find a corner to,
Yeah.
get ready to go to sleep in.
He just walked away from me. Okay. Ah.
As you're expressing your frustration, Lara, you don't see her, but rather feel her presence, and she goes, "You seem really irritable today."
Yeah.
Who you talking to?
Leave me alone. Go away. And Laura will basically make her way outside. You know, some people go for a smoke. I go to talk to my best friend.
as you're walking out, she's ahead of you, and she actually like is kind of playfully skipping, and then she like takes a kind of stop step and kicks at one of the pieces of the door on the floor, and it shifts about an inch, and then she keeps going.
Did you just move that?
She turns her back out of the door now, the broken western door on this longhouse. She just goes, "Do what?"
It moved.
She just looks down. What moved?
You kicked it and it moved.
I mean, yeah, that's how kicking things works.
Does she still have like the darkish kind of look?
No, she looks fine.
How
I mean,
are you?
she always looks... I shouldn't say fine. She always has this kind of sallowness to the way she looks. She looks as if the last time you saw her. Not well. But certainly not vile in any way. The black rings and things that were there before aren't there. Not nearly as strong anyway. She never looks healthy, but certainly doesn't look bad.
Okay. Are you all right? It seems since we came here, some things are different. It's also a bit harder to talk to you considering I have company with me all the time.
Yeah. You probably shouldn't be talking out loud so much. You know, the whole think before you speak thing.
So what's different? I don't understand. You're starting to become more physical, but you're not supposed to be. Why did you even show up in the first place? Didn't you just what? You should have. You should be. You should. You know.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, I think, and she kind of looks around and starts walking deeper into the woods in that westerly direction. She just kind of like starts to walk around, kind of dances around one of the trees, and she's like, something about this place? I don't know. It's like everything's a little easier. It's not. There's not so much effort in all of it. I can kind of come and go as I please.
I'm not sure if I can take much more of this. I mean, we're supposed to do this whole trip for you, and you constantly show up, and you suddenly become much unlike yourself. I don't really know what to do.
Are you blaming me? You're the one
No.
that dragged me out here. I literally can't go anywhere other than where you take me.
That's not what I mean. I mean, you becoming real, talking to people. I mean,
Again, I
thought
don't think it was a person, but
I thought the only reason that this happened was because I didn't do right by you when I could have, and I am trying to make it up to you with this trip, and that after we found what we needed to find, you would finally be at peace. But I seem to see things differently. You seem to become more of this world rather than the next. And I don't know if that's the right way to go about it.
you see that playfulness that she usually has, the dancing around, skipping, and kind of just being joyful, fades for a moment. She stops where she stands, looks you hard in the eye, and goes, You're that's an awfully self-centered way of looking at this. I didn't know you were doing this out of guilt. I knew he was, but you? I thought you knew me better.
I'd like to think I know you, but I don't recall you changing. And You used to care so much for your dad, and you haven't asked about him in I don't know how long.
Did I? You know, it's hard to even remember what it was like before this.
I'm just not so sure this, whatever this is the right way. Or is it the right way? Yeah, I mean, it's not something we've done or you've done or I've done. It's a lot. I'm stuck here. I don't know where I am, and stuff is happening to you, and I need to look after my brother, and I have a lot of things. I think I need I need some space. Yeah, I need space.
Yeah, let me just leave, because that's the easy thing. And she just goes wading off into deep fog, without any of the joy or mirth you usually see in her step. Just heavy, downtrodden, head pointed at the ground.
So does she like disappear, or is she still just completely herself as she walks off?
You now realize you've walked a good ways away from the longhouse, and you stand on what remains of a shantily put together dock at the edge of this foggy swamp, these trees that stand high above the water, their roots reaching down into the water and then the earth. And now you start to realize you've been pulled hundreds of feet away from your home without even thinking you had taken more than a few steps away from the longhouse. But she is gone.
Wait, what? Where am I? How did I? And I'll just start touching the nearest tree, just see if it's some kind of illusion or something, because I am in complete disbelief that I walked all the way here by myself, wherever this is.
As you touch the tree, you feel ruts in the bark. And looking at it with a closer eye, you now see that same rune carved into the tree here that you stand beside. Off to your side is the path, those same logs sunken into the soft dirt so that you know where to walk without getting in any of the soft ground, getting tripped up on anything.
Ty? Trayenda? Oh, shit.
You start to hear that loud clacking in the trees above you.
Okay. Calm down. Retrace my steps. Where are my steps? And I'll try and actually retrace my steps.
Okay, and are you trying to be stealthy in this moment?
I would say, knowing Laura right now, she's probably a bit too panicked, so she's probably not trying to be too stealthy.
Okay. Go ahead and give me a survival check.
Survival. That's a 4.
Okay. You follow the path for a time, but eventually the logs that sink into the ground to denote the path have sunken too deep. And you find yourself kind of standing in some trees, having completely lost the way forward. That clacking in the trees above has started to grow in fervor as you've walked. And you now realize it's coming from multiple places above you, not just one. And the noise is slightly higher pitched than when you heard it at the shoreline back down the coast, or down the river. But you're pretty well fucking lost, my friend.
Okay. Okay, so let me check if I have what I'm thinking about. Okay, so what I want to do is
use fast hands to make a compass.
I wish I could. I wish I could. Let's see. I want to grab something quickly and use fast hands. That's
Yeah, you want
I
to use
will
fast
grab
hands.
a explosive seed, throw it up into the air. Throw it up into one of the trees.
Yes.
And each creature within 5 feet of the exploding seed must make a DC 10 dexterity saving throw. But mostly I'm trying to see what's in the trees. So, because there's an explosion of it, like I tiny
Yeah.
explosion, I suppose. I want to see if it has any light enough to see what's in the trees.
You take the seed and throw it straight up as quickly as you can. You catch one of these things in your blast. You can go ahead and roll the damage if there is any on that.
Alright.
Do we hear the explosion?
You guys would, yes. This kind of loud, thunderous pop and smash. You hear the tree limbs snapping. Lara, I need you to make a dexterity saving throw as a smaller, large centipede creature comes flying out of the tree because you blew up the tree limb that it was on.
Okay,
But you guys
it
do
takes
hear
3
an
damage.
explosion in the wood. Good.
So it takes 3 damage, and my dexterity saving throw is 14.
Okay. So you do dodge its massive form as it falls down. This thing's maybe, I mean, this doesn't help you guys because you're not Americans. It doesn't matter. It is significantly smaller than the one you saw earlier this day. This cycle, as we've been saying. But it is certainly still huge in terms of a bug.
Big bro.
And I need everyone to roll initiative. As you guys hear an explosion in the woods, and Lara dodges the massive centipede falling on her face.
Fine.
Alright, I rolled a 20. Let's go.
Alright, 5.
Cheyenne, I tried to move you up the initiative order this time. I shouldn't have.
That was a mistake.
13.
Mitra?
7.
7. Okay.
I mean, is it about the same time for us as it was, or?
I mean, it's later, in the evening of your day. But you guys certainly weren't in bed quite yet.
Yeah.
This would be, probably right after you guys sat down to eat the meal you had prepared. All right, so at the top of our initiative, we have Lara. The creature falls down beside you. It's easily three times your height in length. It starts to skitter and get its legs under itself to get, ready to move. But it is... What?
Do I hear the other noises still?
Yeah, they rise and pitch again. High above you.
Yeah, Loris is gonna run.
Okay, so a 90-foot dash, huh?
Yep.
Okay. Give me 2 seconds.
Do you know what direction you need to run in?
I am running away from the creature and away from the sounds. I have no idea where I'm going.
Yep. Go ahead and roll me a d20.
Are there that many directions?
18.
18. D20s are easy to split in 4, buddy.
Well, I could have rolled a d4 then.
So true. But whatever.
But it's so much spicier this way.
There you go.
Then roll him a d100.
No, this guy's onto something.
Okay. You take off sprinting, and this thing very quickly burrows under the ground as you're running away. No, what am I missing? You animals. But you begin sprinting away, and you're moving quickly. But you start to feel the ground beneath your feet giving way, slowing you slightly, the heavy mud that you run
it's
through.
one of those freaking insects, isn't it?
And this thing, the one that fell, begins burrowing beneath the ground and starts moving in your direction as you sprint away. Tyken, you hear an explosion out of the western direction, because that's the door that's open, and it would be a much clearer sound that way. What you doing, buddy?
Did you guys hear that?
No?
It's not a natural sound.
What? If you don't like the food, you can just tell me.
No, it actually wasn't bad. That was pretty good.
Tyken, you've heard this sound once before as it blew you the fuck up,
Yeah,
friend.
I know. Laura's been gone quite a while. Probably go check to make sure she's alright.
Well, I wouldn't want to intrude on her alone time.
Mitra just kind of looks at Tykin. Make up your mind, kind of look.
Go to the door and peek my head out. See
You
anything?
hear far off in the distance that loud clacking noise, but other than that, you don't see anything.
Does that sound more frequent? Like it's in a
Yeah,
hurry
it
after-
sounds like
it's in
it
a
sounds
hurry after
exactly the
something.
same as when it fell on the rabbit creature earlier
Okay.
today.
So it's
It's
definitely
like it kind of reaches a fervor and then it stops, and that's when things are bad.
gotcha. So it definitely feels like there's that creature's after something.
Yeah.
And having heard the explosion, Tyke instantly think that it's after his sister, so he's gonna start going and just yell, "Mitra, come on!"
Okay, so you're taking your full movement. Got it.
60 feet.
He doesn't say anything to Shine. Mitra, come on. The stranger of the group, come on, buddy. Oh, okay.
He doesn't know me either.
I really don't.
True, I guess.
I know big ladies swing big axe.
That's funny as shit. I love that. I'm sorry. Please continue.
Well, Mitra, it is your turn. You watch Tyken sprint out of the longhouse down the path.
She just turns to look at Cheyenne briefly before, the cheese wall is down, and, of course, priorities.
Yeah.
And I'd say she would have put the jaw down earlier as well, probably next
Okay.
to wherever she planned to sleep, and then she takes off after him.
Okay. And you have the same movement speed, correct? I don't think you've gotten any movement buff.
I don't think she has any movement buff. No, 30 feet walking.
For 60.
Yep.
You both take off into the woods. Shayenda, what you got?
So he watches, both of them go in the woods.
Jeez.
It just says like,
Just one proper evening. Just one.
then he cuts a slice of cheese bonus action and
Oh,
puts it in his mouth and then goes out.
Beautiful.
Oh, no, action cheese.
So you all begin sprinting at roughly the same pace. Lara, as you're running, I need you to make a dexterity saving throw as some of the roots seem to start catching at your ankles as you're running over these kind of high-standing trees.
17.
Okay. You're making amazing pace. Are you still just running away?
Yeah.
Okay. As you sprint, I need to do. Does a 15 hit you?
Let's see. Yes.
Okay. You take 9 points of piercing damage as one of these things' claws emerges from the soft earth beneath you and racks into your leg, stabbing one of its long legs into yours. And then I need a Constitution saving throw from you.
Okay. Let's
Yes,
see.
get that first player kill, King.
11.
11. You take another.
Wait, what?
You take another 5 points of poison damage as
Yep.
one of these claws injects you with
Okay.
some substance. Your leg suddenly aflame but numb at the same time. It's kind of like when your limb falls asleep, but it's agony rather than just being an inconvenience. Your movement isn't slowed though, and you do eventually run past this thing. That was its opportunity attack as it lay in wait. But you still haven't found the road. You're just sprinting wildly through the swampy woods. But you're making good speed. The thing that would catch your eye as you are racked with pain is behind you. You're seeing these furrows in the dirt that are moving very quickly, almost keeping pace with you. But they're starting to fall behind. For all of you now, the clacking in the woods has completely fallen silent. These things are no longer shifting their plates any directions to make noise. All right, that brings us to Lara. Still sprinting, full 90 feet.
I'm gonna try something different. So, given the panic that she's in, and the situation that she's in, she's definitely now a whole lot of hurt in a place that she doesn't know.
Yeah.
So, she's gonna do something that she normally wouldn't do, which is with tears in her eyes as she's running, she will call out to her and say, please, if I die, you die, and I don't know what's gonna happen to your dad, or who's gonna take care of him. So please show me the way to where he is, and just go with that as she runs.
Roll me a persuasion check at advantage.
Persuasion. That's a 12.
Okay. You call out into the night, and those of you who just left Longhouse, you do actually start to hear this cry for help in the woods, though the context is confusing for all of you.
Did we hear the name that was called out?
You didn't hear a name, not at all.
I thought Laura called out a specific person.
Nope.
Okay.
But you hear a strange call for help in the woods, one that doesn't fit. It fits Lara's voice. It doesn't fit calling to you guys.
Right. Right. My question was, did she say the name of the person? Okay.
No, she did not name anyone.
Okay.
Vagueness is vagueness.
Fair enough.
But the call is given. We'll see what happens. Tyken, you're up.
Move in the direction I heard whatever calling for help.
Okay. As you break in off the path, finally, kind of cutting off to the right, off the beaten road here, you immediately notice that the ground itself is breaking as something bursts deeper into the wood. And one of these things emerges up, just kind of part of its body sticking from the dirt, and it starts to look at you, these large pincers kind of clacking at you. They drip this kind of gross, slimy, silvery fluid. Yeah, you've got a thingy in front of you that wants to kill you real bad.
Did I use my action?
No, I would say you didn't.
Okay, so I only moved my 30 feet to get there.
Yeah.
So as long as I still have
But
my
you know
action-
she's exceptionally close if this thing's right here.
Right. I mean, I'll just swing away with the hammer on the whatever's in front of me.
Okay, go ahead and give me an attack.
Does 18 hit?
Yes.
6
Look, I hate you guys, but I'm not going to give you an AC 20 poison monster.
6 points.
Why not?
6 points. Okay. Keep that in mind.
Why shouldn't I give them an AC 24?
Okay, so you take your swing, your singular swing, love low-level encounters, doing some solid damage. As you hit it, you hear the kind of crunching and caving underneath the blow, and it calls out, it cries. Those large plates on its back and around each of the legs are kind of shifting and crashing together, making this kind of high-pitched, stone-on-stone type noise. Seem to be very effective, your hit. All right, Mitra, you also arrive at this same scene, although you do see that some of them are still burrowing further in another direction, deeper into the wood.
In a moment, well, I believe Mitra will gang up on this one that Tyken has engaged.
Yeah.
Presuming that she is still in movement distance to
Absolutely.
approach. On her approach, she's going to do the barbarian thing and unsheath her katana, her grace, enter a rage and yell as she tries to bring down her great axe upon the creature Tyken has engaged. Roll to hit. That is a 16 to hit.
Hits.
Hits? Okay, let's roll some damage dice. That is 7 plus 2 for 9 points of damage.
That is slashing damage, correct? It's a great axe?
Oh, apologies. Yes, that is slashing damage.
Good to know.
Yep.
Okay. Your blow comes crashing down upon the thing, and it cries out. You start to see some of the plates are kind of sundered and broken away, and as it tries to do that cry with the plates shifting, they're kind of making this strange crushing sound as they can't quite match up the way they should to make noise. Okay. Cheyenda.
That being done, yeah, turn ended.
I mean, Trenda's gonna make his way, closer, I guess.
Yeah.
And is gonna shoot the first thing that looks remotely not like any of the three others.
Absolutely. Go ahead and roll me an attack, friend.
The necrotic bolt. Pew pew. Oh, that's really bad. That's a 9.
9 does not hit.
Okay, and just goes nowhere pretty much. It's like, oh fuck, and that's it really.
Okay.
There's not much else I can do at this range.
Lara, you hear one of these things being hit by heavy blades off to your right. You'd have to cut and turn in that direction. The ones that are following you are close enough that one of them might get an attack on you, but you could run towards the sounds of combat as you hear, Cheyenda going fuck and Mitra screaming in rage before the fight.
Yeah, Laura would run that way,
Okay.
regardless of the potential danger, I guess.
Yeah, that way.
That is another 15 to hit.
That hits.
That is 7 piercing damage, and I need the con save.
A 10?
You take another 4 points of poison damage.
I'm down.
I'd like to refer you back to this GIF I posted.
Lara, the strange thing about this moment, I don't know, have you been close to death yet in this party? I don't think so.
No, this is first time.
I mean, people describe death to you. You've read books, you're a well-read person, but this doesn't feel like death. It's warm and everything goes blurry. Your knees buckle beneath you as you start to run towards your friends. A strange gasp escapes your lungs and you can no longer move anything, but you're very conscious. Your face is kind of half in the mud. You can still breathe, but one eye is completely in the mud and you can't even close it. You can feel it in your eye. You don't think you're dead yet, but it's certainly not a good thing, whatever's coming. Lara, just so you know, you're considered stable, but you are paralyzed currently.
No.
Wait,
But you're like the nicest DM ever. What is going
right?
on?
How is she going to 0 hit points and is stable?
It's very easy.
It's
called,
part of
it's
the
called-
poison.
Oh, okay.
It's
Oh,
called
or-
being
or-
good at the game.
A
Yeah,
lot
well-
armor.
Or the DM just doing whatever the fuck they want because it's a narrative now.
I call it.
Gotcha.
I went to 0 from a freaking banshee and had to roll death saves.
Yeah, that's the narrative, didn't it? Yeah, no, 100%.
What's really great about this is I'll tell you this now because it doesn't matter. I mean, probably doesn't matter. But if it was the poison, this is the state that the player goes to.
Right.
If it's the actual piercing damage, yeah, you're fucked, champ.
Okay. Let me
But it
translate
was-
that for you to like player speak. Shut up, side character. I'm the main character here.
We're engaged.
No.
Okay.
We're back and ready to go.
Yeah, we're good.
Icon, it is your turn. You
Okay.
hear that gasp and a thumping sound on the other side of the tree that you're fighting beside.
Okay.
It's techno.
Um,
Party.
House
Right.
music.
do I see Lara go down? Do I see it?
If you move out of melee with this thing, you could go see what that sound is.
Can I get to her without using my
Well-
action?
You wouldn't even know. You wouldn't see me.
Whatever I heard, I clearly heard something gas.
Yeah, I mean,
and pain.
you heard a noise that is not the noise these things make.
right.
But you will be stepping out and getting an opportunity attack if you
You're
do
just
want to
like-
step out for that.
That's fine.
I'm in battle. Wait,
No,
did I hear
hold on to
something? Did I hear something? Mid battle? Fuck this shit. I'm gonna check it out.
I'm going on the assumption my sister was just attacked by something and is running for her life, and then I hear a gasp, and it goes, oh, and like, you know.
Does a 16 hit you, Tyken?
No.
Okay. You bat away these large pincers with your shield as this thing tries to get a bite at you as you run. You step around the tree and you do see your sister's prone form. She's breathing, but only just. Completely unmoving. Her eyes are open, but she's facing the ground mostly.
Okay.
Yeah, looks real rough.
Can I get to her without using my
Yeah.
action? Okay.
Yeah, you can just use your movement. She's very close.
Okay. I'll go to my sister, kneel down, and I'll just lay on hands 5 hit points, and that'll cure any disease and neutralize any poison effect.
Oh, look at you. Very smart.
The DM said begrudgingly.
Lara, you feel this hollowness, this strange feeling of being unmoving and unblinking fade from your body instantly as your brother's hand reaches your back as you lay in the mud. On your turn, you'll be able to stand back up and join the fight or run if you need to. But you are no longer considered poisoned
As she wakes
or
up,
paralyzed.
As she wakes up and just kind of sees me, saved you.
Okay.
Fucking shit-eating kid.
Yep.
Mitra, you're up.
Mitra sees Tykin break ranks, and there's a moment in which he wants to think, well, that was dumb, but she's way too invested in the fight. So I presume the creature that she attacked is what launched out to try and strike him.
Absolutely.
And she's going to do a mega chop and try to attack this creature again.
Okay.
Oh wow. Okay, that's okay. Okay, that's a 10. All right,
It's a 10 to hit.
that's a 10 to hit. Okay.
Your
but-
great axe meets the plates and glances off.
Okay. But I was thinking, I'm going to do the noob trap thing. I'm gonna try reckless attack instead.
Okay.
So
I'm here
cool.
for reckless attack.
Hell yeah! Attack rolls against her have advantage, but yeah, let's try a reckless attack.
Right.
Well, that's fucking hilarious because that's a 7. So that is about it then.
You embolden yourself, screaming out at this large creature, taking
Yeah.
another swing, the blade glancing off of its heavy armor, the chitin seeming impenetrable in this moment for you. And it swivels. It doesn't actually swivel to the sound of you screaming more than the impact of the blow on the axe. And its back, like the back part of its body, starts to wiggle as it starts to sink back into the ground in this soft earth. Shayenda.
All right. So as I mean, can you see the whole thing happen? Like, can you see Laura fall?
Yeah.
All right.
I assume
then
you're staying
let's-
far enough back to have a good view on everything. You don't need to get into melee like the rest, so.
Yeah. Then he's gonna scream out as it happens, and his eyes are gonna flare deep orange. And he's gonna cast Scorching Ray. That's the
Beautiful.
thing.
Will you roll me a wild magic roll real quick?
Oh yeah, the roll before. Yes. So.
I think
It's real
whenever you
thematic.
cast yeah, I think it's whenever you
Oh,
cast
no.
a level or more.
All right, Naomi, what's the table?
Okay. Roll me some percentile dice there, champ.
Percentile. Fuck is that? Like, you mean the
100?
D100?
Yeah.
Is that a D10? Yeah. Okay. That's a 95.
95.
That's a lot, so it must be good.
Yo,
Oh,
let's
fuck.
go.
Here we go, boys. Okay.
I'm ready.
Hold my idea.
You all feel this magical pulse as Shayenda cries out, the emotion filling everyone around you. And all of a sudden, you all have this, like, your armor feels soft to the touch. Like, the clothes you wear even feel softer. You feel less effective at defense currently. You all have vulnerability to piercing damage currently. Very convenient for me.
Let's go.
Yeah. It's
Oh,
only for the
also
next
the score-
minute. But
Also the Scorching Ray, by the way.
yes, go ahead and roll the
Um,
3 attacks on that.
So that's a 20, that's 17, and that's a 10.
Okay. So the first 2 hit, the last one misses. Unless you have a bonus. I don't know. Unless
No,
it's
no, no.
without.
That's it. So that's 5 fire damage for the first one,
Okay.
and 7 fire damage for the second one. So
Beautiful.
5 plus 7, 12.
All right. That is that. Good to know. This thing cries out as you punch holes through its armor, burning it nearly to death, but it is still kind of wiggling in place, getting ready to go beneath the ground. At the end of your turn, it's going to go ahead and sink beneath the earth, and it moves directly beneath you, Cheyenda. You feel the earth shifting below you, but it doesn't seem to do anything yet.
Okay.
I need dexterity saving throws from Tyken and Mitra as well.
Tykin and Mitra. Okay. Dex
11.
saving throws.
11.
Clack, 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 clack. Wow. That is a 5.
Okay. You both take 6 piercing damage as 2 of these things lurch off of the trees near you and snap into you before coming back up the trees, getting out of your melee reach. They do not get attacks of opportunity for this.
Wait, we don't get attacks of opportunity?
You do not.
We didn't see them? Okay.
It's basically, yeah, they blend into the trees when they sit still. Their chitin looks like tree bark, and they kind of detach their top half and bite out and then get back onto the tree and then skitter back up it.
That's very sussy. So, how does this interact with my rage? Because, of course, rage gives me resistance.
Yeah, so I doubled it already. I gave you both the doubled damage. So you will half that doubled damage.
Okay, because that essentially puts me back at normal, I guess.
Yep.
Okay, cool.
Some quick math there.
Yeah. All right, back up to the top of our turn. Lara, you use half your movement to stand up.
Is there still a creature close?
There was, but you no longer see one actively in melee with you. One sunk beneath the earth and went away from you, and 2 of them came down from the trees, attacked your friends, and then went back up into the trees.
Laura will grab her short bow since Ty is finally, someone else is finally with her, and just in a panicked sense, just look around for any targets to hit.
Looking up in the trees, you see the 2 that just attacked your friends, so you could fire on either of them.
Yeah, she will fire.
Okay.
Where's my bow? Short bow. 18 to hit.
Hits.
That is 8 damage.
8 damage. Beautiful. Meow. Okay. It's at about this point that you guys begin hearing wind whipping up through the trees. It's far too intense for a place like this. Wind has not been a factor down here pretty much at all in our story, other than open plains of large frozen ground. The wind starts to pick up and become a gale. The 2 that are up in the trees begin to wiggle and lose grasp, their legs only keeping them on because they have so many. But the wind just keeps picking up in pace and ferocity in this moment. Tyken, you're up.
Can I just, as part of my movement, move in front of Lara to kind of give her a little bit of cover from the things in the trees, the shield, and then I'll shoot a sacred flame at one of them.
All right.
Whichever one looks the hurt, the one that like the hurt most.
It fails. So you're getting the one that she shot with her bow. The one that's actually hurt the most is under the ground beneath Cheyenda.
Okay, yeah, that one. So, 6 damage on the sacred flame for radiant damage. I don't
Beautiful.
know if that matters or not on this case, but
You see that holy fire light up in between the gaps in the plates, the thing kind of clacking loudly as you cook it inside of its shell.
now does she get a little bit of boost to her AC from being cover?
I mean, yeah, basically. We're not using real cover mechanics, but yeah, I'll say for the sake of brevity, if something attacks, it'll attack you rather than her.
Okay, fair enough.
Um,
That's fine.
All right, Mitra. The one that you were in melee with has moved through the dirt under your feet and under to Cheyenda's form.
Is it visible?
You don't see it currently. It's in the ground. It's
Not
underneath
sick
the ground.
currently. Well, she's raging, so she's gonna rage. Else she's gonna be just less angry for some reason. Okay. Well, in the interest of keeping things going, she can't see her immediate prey, so she's going to look for adjacent prey. She's going to grab a hand axe and eat it at one of the creatures.
Beautiful. You hitting the one that was just sacred flamed, since it's easily the
Yeah.
most visible?
Would make most sense. Yes, she would do that, like a
Alright.
moth to flame. Oh.
Go ahead and
Alright. Let's give that a roll. Huh. Okay. Wouldn't it be crazy if I wanted to reckless attack again?
yeah, you absolutely can.
Oh yeah. Okay, let's try this again.
Oh, I forgot to attack you at advantage. Hold on.
Yeah, you
No,
can
you're
get
good. It's not a crit.
I forgot to try and kill you. Hold on.
No respect. Okay, that hand axe is a 18 to hit.
Hits.
Let's roll the damage on the hand axe. Lol. That is 5 plus 2, which is 7.
Okay, how do you want to do this?
Yes. It's just gonna try and hit it dead center to like split in half.
Yeah, you cut through the head, it landing in the tree bark high above, sticking into the tree. The body falls now, losing its grasp on all the legs. This one is significantly smaller, even than the one you were just in melee with. It's probably a little taller than you are, long-wise. But it falls down dead and starts to curl up, all the legs grabbing at nothing, kind of shrinking into itself. You've killed one of them.
And then she is going to move a bit closer to Shaenda.
Okay.
So it's like the fadeaway yeet, and she turns to go towards that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, like she's anticipating this thing's probably gonna pop out any second now, and she wants to be ready. But yeah, that's her turn.
Okay. Shaenda, I probably don't need to ask this, but does a 14 hit you?
I'm gonna double check that. Yes, it does.
Oof. You take 16 points of piercing damage
Oh!
because
I'm
of your
out.
vulnerability.
I'm down.
Ouch.
What do you mean? Ah,
You're vulnerable to piercing.
Yeah, everybody's
Yeah.
vulnerable to piercing currently.
The old
Yeah.
magic surge.
I mean, yeah. I
just can't believe we got this one.
That's
He's
so
like,
funny.
he's already on his knees, and like he gets hit, and the flare in his eyes just poofs out, and he just goes down.
Wait a minute. That also means the enemies are vulnerable now, or is it just us?
That's the allies.
Yeah,
Just the
This is a
allies?
really
What?
rough one for you guys to get
Oof,
right now.
fucked up. Who
Oh no,
designed
it is the creatures. You're absolutely right. My bad.
Yeah,
Is
it's creatures.
Yeah, it's everybody.
Oh.
Well then,
A
Nobody's
fucking
doing
free for
piercing
all.
damage except for our dear Lara, which I already
let's-
marked.
oh yeah,
That one's already dead. It was a very weak one.
yeah. I was
Okay.
thinking Mitra, but that'd be slashing the axe. Yeah.
Takes the great axe and pokes him with the stick end.
Yeah.
Okay,
Mage's got javelins, so
that's true.
Mm.
So Shaenda, you are currently down then.
Oh yeah, I'm
Um,
super down.
All right.
I just exactly thought as well.
Man. All right.
Were you previously
Lara.
hurt, or you just have 16 points of hit? Like,
No, I have 16 points of HP.
Did I actually see Shaenda go down?
At this point, you
Oh,
guys
yeah.
have all gathered where each other are in this fight. So yeah, you would see Shaenda get grasped by these large pincers. They cut into both of his sides and drag him straight to the ground and pull
Yeah.
him
Oh, yeah.
right there.
Laura will just panic shoot.
Okay.
That Shaenda?
I'll put him out of his misery. Fucking
Kill him before he turns.
Starship Troopers.
I only rolled 10, so
Oof. Technically you are, well, no. No, yeah, because Mitra moved next to him. So you are at advantage, technically.
really.
Technically.
15?
15 does hit.
Okay, for let's see, where's my second attack? 17 damage.
How do you want to do this?
sorry, Shanda. I could have saved you.
It will probably just be a body shot, considering, the panic and whatnot. Nothing graceful.
As it begins to pull that long form back down into the dirt, you just shoot at one of the openings in the plates as it's clacking loudly, signaling that it's got prey. You hit in between two of the plates, and as the plates wiggle, they accidentally drive the arrow deeper inside of its body. And it lets this nasty crunching sound as the plates try to fix themselves in position and can't. Cheyenne is dropped harmlessly as the pincers open up and fall at rest.
She will also move to Shayanda to cover his body in case anything wants to come close.
Okay, you and your 5 hit points. Tyken.
I moved to Shayanda.
And healing hands.
Let me rest, Jesus.
Yeah, I mean, there's still at least one more in the trees above you.
Is there?
Yeah, there was 2 of us. 2 of them that
I'll
attacked
move to
us, right?
Shayanda and take cover to protect him.
You also would have noticed that he didn't make the same gasp Laura made.
Right. And I'm gonna bend down, put my hand onto him, and spare the dying.
Okay.
So you don't make death saves, you're still down, and you have some cover.
He's stable.
And that's my turn.
All right. Mitra.
Okay, well, she was hurrying over, sees this thing go down, and it's kind of like
Sting, that was me. I went down.
wrong thing, Cheyenne, wrong thing. She sees the creature, her prey go down, and she kind of stops in her tracks, drops her great axe, and totally not metagaming, she pulls a javelin and looks for the last creature in the tree. She's already
Absolutely.
thrown a hand axe.
Go ahead and roll your attack. Are you reckless attacking?
Yeah, let's go. Why not?
To be fair,
done
we
it
probably
so
would have
far.
noticed the exoskeleton soften a little bit when that magic went off.
Yeah, I mean, it is literally like your clothes are moving out of the way so you can get stabbed in flesh. It's a real bad time.
Okay, 18 is 18 and 16, so 18.
Yeah. It hits.
Okay, and let's throw this. That is 6 plus 2, 8 points of piercing normally.
16. Beautiful. All right. The thing tries to let out another of those loud clacks, but this javelin is planted in between the plates, just like many of your other projectiles so far. But it's kind of pinned to the tree now as well. It's not moving nearly as easily as it was before, because this thing basically sunk straight through and is holding it in place against the tree high up. It's at about this point that the wind picks up to this gale force that is ridiculous. You all begin to see tree limbs snapping from some of the drier trees high up. All of the clacking that's been intermittently filling the air from these creatures falls silent. And you even notice the one that you just pinned to the tree, Mitra. This thing seems to be like trying to shrink in fear and get up the tree. It's like pulling itself against the javelin and tearing itself open to try and get away from this wind. As you start to smell ozone for a minute, and then all of a sudden this arc of blue lightning just starts tearing through some of the trees, bouncing from tree to tree, hitting high up in the leaves. You can't see what it's hitting. But you hear all of the clacking fall silent as lightning rips through the treetops, and the one that you just pinned there is the javelin is used like a lightning rod, and this thing is fried against the tree. It's still not a safe feeling, certainly, but something else just happened that you're unsure of what caused it. But you certainly are safer now than you were before.
Are we out of
Or
combat? Are we out of combat? now?
Absolutely.
Okay.
break.
Yeah,
Break.
take a
I
break.
need to go to.
Yeah,
I
take a
need.
break.
I need to go.
Yeah, don't explode, dude.
So, silence falls over the forest once again, the wind dying back down, the smell of ozone leaving the space, the fog starting to fall back in around you guys. You stand roughly on the path again, the path back up to the longhouse.
How? Cheyenne's still dead.
Well, yeah, Cheyenne is not standing currently.
I'm not
He's just
fucking
laying
dead.
there
You're fucking
breathing.
dead. I'll fucking kill
unconscious.
you.
I'm sure that we can manage to carry Sayanda.
Yeah, I mean, Mitra doesn't have her hands full for once, so she could.
She certainly could, yeah.
If you can carry a wheel of cheese, you can carry Sayanda.
Wow.
I mean, she just remembers the last time when she lifted him without permission, and it wasn't bad. It was just kind of like, oh. So she like is like to pick him up, like just very very cautiously lifts him up and carries him gentle like babies. There you go.
You guys, I assume, head back towards the longhouse?
If we know the way, I'm lost.
Yeah, you guys are back on the path. You actually picked the right direction, but you were just not moving in quite the right direction. You were just off the path, still in the trees.
If Laura's lost, Mitra's gonna ask her to like get her hand axe and javelin. Like, go on, you can climb it. I need this.
You climbing some
What?
trees, Laura?
No, not like that.
What do you mean no?
I assume you guys know the way.
Just get her stuff.
Mitra wants her hand axe and javelin back.
Oh, right, yeah, you can have this.
Okay, so she gets to get it. Great, excellent.
I thought you were like handing them to me. I was like, what? Why are you handing them to me?
Well, whoever's going for them, give me athletics or acrobatics as you climb up.
Okay, athletics, let's see. Or acrobatics. I'm just gonna go with the first one. 16?
16. It takes you a moment. You climb up the first tree, get the hand axe down, then climb over to the second one, over across some of the branches. And the javelin is now stained this kind of strange hue. The metal on it is kind of this deep blue purple. The lightning seemingly having tinted the steel. But you pull it out of the tree after a moment of struggle, and the toasted body of this large centipede falls down onto the ground below. You climb back down safely with a 16. And you guys are giving back the equipment you lost to the trees as you throw things.
Yeah, baby! Yeah, okay. That's good. I think Mitra should know the way back.
Yeah. Go ahead and give me a survival check, Mitra.
A survival check. So
You fail. We're stuck here.
that would be very funny. I rolled in that one, so that's a 4.
Wait, don't you have that feat? What was that feat?
Yeah.
Last time?
Yeah, I was thinking about the feat. It is
Outlander?
Feature
Yeah.
Wanderer. You have an excellent memory for maps and geography, and you can
Beautiful.
also the general layout of terrain, settlements, and other people around.
You
big
look
brain.
for tracks for a moment, your own tracks, to find them back, and then you're like, why the fuck am I doing this? And you just kind of start walking along the path and make your way back up to the longhouse.
Yeah, that illustrated clarity came in a bit late, but
You guys take a short time. It's maybe a 5-minute walk back up to the longhouse. But you get back inside, going through the broken-in door, the western door, and settling back in. There are 4 beds along one of the walls, kind of near to the map in the kitchen area. And they're all spaced evenly with a chest at the foot of each of the beds. You guys have already pulled everything out of the chests, mostly clothing and warm blankets, but you now can all actually lay down for rest.
I will tuck Sayanda in.
Okay.
he's looking at me.
Now, remind me, Mr. Asher, since you're such a great DM, being stabilized
I am,
means
but-
you eventually come back to consciousness, right?
Yeah, it's like
yeah,
after
you roll. Technically, you roll 1d4. It's randomized on 1d4, and that's the number of hours you take to wake up.
Okay, cool.
Or,
I mean,
We'll
if you want to make it 1d100,
or I could
you know,
just lay on hands, give him 5 hit points, and wake him up.
If you would like to, yeah. I'm just saying we have to.
but that's
think
is that
about-
really
I
a
mean, I
context?
was gonna milk
you
it
know,
a little bit, but
Is that really a context worthy of a paladin, though? You know, paladins are supposed to be cool.
That is something to keep in mind. You'll have to sleep a little longer than everyone else if you do.
I mean, I love
Stay unstable, but you tuck Cheyenne back into bed, some of you nursing your wounds.
Question.
Yeah.
Is he choking on the cheese that he ate before the battle?
I would assume during that scream when he watched you fall down, he dropped the cheese and no one picked it up. Yeah. So there is now muddy ground cheese in that direction that he will be very sad about when he wakes up.
Just don't tell him about it.
You think he'd forget about cheese? Did you listen to that talk?
He lost consciousness. I want to say he forgot. Oh man.
Lara, as you eventually lie down to rest, you hear the faintest of whispers at the back of your mind. This one isn't quite the same as you usually hear her. She sounds weak. She sounds just like she sounded right before it all happened. And she just goes, I hope it was enough. And then, just like that, the feeling is gone from the back of your head.
We'll probably not act on it, considering everything that has happened. Yeah, just kind of pretend it didn't happen.
Who's keeping first watch? I assume you're keeping a watch since there's an open door.
I'll keep first watch.
All right, go ahead and give me a perception check, friend. Are you sitting inside the building or outside?
Inside.
Okay.
Probably next to Shining.
Yeah.
Since it's first watch, and I assume I didn't actually feel like too well. I guess I woke up from the whisper. Can I actually get up and find Ty?
Yeah. I mean, Ty's literally like 20 feet away from you, just sitting at the end, basically just sitting on the chest at the end of Cheyenne's bed.
I'll just. I don't know. Is Ty doing something specific right now? Or?
Next to Cheyenne. Keep an eye on him.
Alright, Laura will sit down next to Ty and say, hey, we need to talk. And she kind of forgets that Cheyenne is in the vicinity, so I don't know if he's awake or not, but in any case, she will continue and say, I don't really know what happened or how I ended up there. And I said it wouldn't happen. But this time it happened without my knowledge, if you know what I mean. I need you to and she saw us this is pretty difficult for her to say, but she will say, I need you to keep an eye on me. I'm supposed to protect you. I'm the older one among us. Definitely the wiser one. But I'm having a really hard time right now, and I'm not sure if I'm capable of being myself. I know it sounds weird. I don't really know how to explain the things that happened. I know you really want to know. I guess I don't really understand either. Since we've come here, things have been weird and different with me, and I don't know how or why, but I just ended up walking, and I thought I was gonna be just outside the house, and I ended up somewhere completely different, and I'm really happy that you found me in the nick of time. I'm sorry if I worried you and the rest. I feel like I'm holding you guys back, or just I feel like a mess, honestly.
As she says, feels like she's holding us back. Grab a hold of her hand. Holding us back. I don't know what happened out there. I know you really don't want to talk about it. I understand. I know you feel like you just need to protect me. Sure, maybe you do.
I need to tell you something. But it's between you and me.
Right, but as soon as she says that, lay on hands, Cheyenne for 5 hit points. And I'm doing this quietly.
Yeah, I mean, you're just laying a hand on the back of his leg as you sit there.
Yep.
Well, I'm still fucking sleeping, so fuck off.
She says, the reason I ran is because I was running after a loved one. At least I can see them sometimes. They speak to me. I know it sounds weird, and I swear to you, I'm not crazy. And yes, that's what a crazy person would say, clearly. I don't know how to explain it. I lost someone very dear to me, as dear as you are to me. And this person keeps coming back, but only showing themselves to me. And that's who I was talking to. And that's the reason I ran after them, because for the first time, they didn't want to talk to me. And I know this sounds super weird and very out of place. And I understand that this place is stressful and that we have a lot going on. And it's a lot. So I could just use someone to watch me a little bit, make sure I don't walk off. And I don't know how to tell you much more than that.
Maybe don't walk off.
It's not like I wanted to. I thought I was standing right outside the house, and then I found myself in the woods in the blink of an eye.
Okay, so maybe don't leave.
I can't talk to her if I'm around you guys. You guys think that's weird.
It is weird. I don't. So, not that weird, but it is weird. So I don't talk to dead people.
At this point, I'm not even sure if they're dead or not.
Right. But I understand. The only time I ever heard voices was at the hole. Right?
You heard voices?
There at the hole.
Oh, whose voice?
I heard it once before we ever left the temple. That was a long time ago. And this new voice was different at the hole. I haven't heard it since. But I have had those dreams talked about. There was one recently when I died. A little bit more interesting. And I just kind of explain everything.
Can you both roll me a wisdom saving throw as you're talking?
Okay. I rolled a 4.
Okay.
I rolled a 12.
Okay. As you're both talking and just, showing sibling affection, holding each other's hands, being a comfort in this trying time, Tyken, you can hear a woman's voice humming, just kind of outside the building, through the door somewhere. And Lara, you can hear the sound of metal being worked, this clanging, just kind of droning noise, as if someone was right outside with a smeltery, just beating at metal with a hammer. The whole time you guys are talking, it's not annoyingly loud, it's just very aware to you both.
Do you hear that? That metal?
No.
And Laura will go up, and are there like windows I can look through?
Yeah, there are a few windows here. I mean, they're mostly shuttered. You'd have to open the wooden hatch on them, but you can do that.
Yeah, I'd like to see through the
Um,
window to see if I see anything.
As you drop down the window, you don't see, like, you're looking in the direction you're hearing this metal sound from, but you're not seeing anything out there other than just the defensive barricades and the woods.
You don't hear that at all.
No. I
must
mean,
be going mad.
it's a. I mean, sometimes I'm being around the forge. Sometimes you get a little ringing, so I hear it constantly sometimes, but it goes away after a minute.
It's not. I've not been around forges. Well, other than Dad's.
Right. So
Sometimes,
that's
but-
the thing. I wouldn't.
It's not a forge.
You said you heard banging, right? Like
Yes.
metal.
Yes.
I equate that to a forge. That's what it sounds. Metal hanging together, forge. Growing up,
That was
forge is.
Also, as you walk away and go to the window, Tyke and I assume you remain seated.
Yeah.
The second your hands stop touching each other, you both stop hearing the noises.
Maybe you're right. I don't hear it anymore. Maybe I just need to sleep. I'm sorry for coming to you with all this silliness.
Yeah, that poison may be having a weird effect on you. I don't know.
Yeah, just forget everything I said.
Yeah, that's not gonna happen. Look at that.
We can talk about it another night. I think it's been wonderful to finally spend time with you as my brother and to confide in you. But I think I potentially need some rest. Just do me one favor, and if somehow or for some reason you see me leave, just stop me. Whatever the cost, I don't want to go through that again.
Okay.
Thank you.
Promise I'm
And-
not jumping down any holes anytime soon.
Perfect. And Laura will give Ty a really tight hug before going off to bed.
Woke up the old man. It's fine.
What? What? What the fuck? What do you want?
Well, it's your turn for watch.
No. No, I think I'm gonna sleep. Alright, well,
All right.
yeah. See you on the other side. And,
Just kind of turns.
There already.
Tyke, who do you wake up for second watch?
Oh, Mitra.
Okay.
Okay. Sure, Mitra takes second watch. She makes very little in terms of conversation. More like she awakes, gives Tyken a nod, and goes on a watch. Rather than being squarely lodged inside, she's going to step through the door, just as she's outside,
Okay.
so she can look around.
Give me a perception check.
Perception, click. That is a 16.
16. Over the course of the few hours that you have to do watch, your friends stir a few times, but mostly they sleep. The coals in the fire on the one end of the building where Cheyenne was cooking are starting to die down now. The forest has grown exceptionally dark because we're in one of the longer nights here in Lumina. The 3-day nights that linger for far too long. The clacking noise comes and goes a few times, but it's very distant. At one point, with a high enough perception, you do hear what sounds like a much louder and heavier clacking noise, far deeper into the woods, but it carries, it sounds like boulders cracking into each other. It is visceral in that moment of hearing it, because it's very recognizable. You've heard this noise plenty of times over the course of the last 2 days, but this one is massive. It sounds like buildings crashing together when this thing shifts its scales. And after it happens, the forest falls silent for a good long while. But nothing seems to come and bother the longhouse. And eventually, you're left to pick the last person for watch.
Oh, that's a tricky one.
Not it.
He wakes up, not it. Goes right to sleep. That's Cheyenne, the senses were tingling. She is going to choose Laura when she wakes her. She's not even going to nod at her. She's just going to look at her. It's a very judging look, but she doesn't say anything. And then she goes back to bed.
Judged.
You've been judged.
All right, I'll take the last watch in silence, I guess.
What you got?
17 perception.
17. Your watch is arduous and boring. There are no sounds that come by. You're not spoken to by any entities. You just sit and think on the day that you've had, the strange and terrible day that you've had. And eventually, it feels about the right time to wake your friends, to get them going for the day ahead. Yeah, that's about it.
Get our long rest.
You do. You've created your first safe haven.
Woo!
For so long as you keep a watch here, this will be a safe haven. Unless you're interrupted, in which case, go
So-
fuck yourselves.
With long rest, you get your hit die back, was it?
You get half? Question mark?
You get hacked.
Okay, yeah. And HP?
Half of your level, so for us that would be 1 hit dice.
Yeah, and HP is just full, or is it back to
HP
full?
is, yeah.
Okay.
And your spell slots
Kevin
come back
learned
Cheyenne.
D&D.
And
Well,
After
I
3
play
years of
Cyberpunk, bro. Yeah,
I'm
I'll
a
be
cyberpunk gamer now. I don't need
Yeah.
to worry about long rests.
Exactly.
I gotta
Well,
spend a
yeah.
week in my house to heal.
They have to spend like a month to like recover after freaking firefight. What do you mean? None
Gets
of
hit
this,
by
I feel
one
okay
rock,
in a
loses
day.
half my health.
Yeah.
Ugh. What's our runtime currently, Kyle?
Yes.
Oh, that's hard for you because you had to stop recording, huh?
Mm-hmm.
After 7. It's
I mean, it's like 3 hours.
It's like 2
yeah,
hours.
3 hours. Yeah.
Almost 3.
Okay. It's up to you guys. We can keep going, or I know it's late for most of you, late-ish, compared to us over here. So it's up to you.
I don't mind continuing, but I do think this is a good stopping point.
It is.
Hmm.
Been a lot of good interpersonal drama, some good fighting.
Yeah, I know it's late for you guys, but we're not playing next week, so I kind of want to play more.
It's up to everybody.
So
Put it to
I
a vote.
mean, yeah, I mean, does anyone want to leave? Anyone want to stop these? Oh, seems like we're good to continue then.
We're going.
All right.
I guess we're playing.
You all get going for the morning. Cheyenne, are you cooking a breakfast for everyone? You'd probably be the first to rise, given you got most of the sleep this evening.
I'm recovering.
Okay.
Let that boy sleep.
I guess that's like
Since
all-
Sayanda's asleep and Laura does get hungry, she's gonna take a bit of the cheese.
I guess as
like a large
everyone's-
chunk.
Everyone's possibly cooking and making breakfast or anything. I'm going to take a look at that map again and just kind of get an idea of what direction we should probably go.
Okay.
You know,
I mean, you see the 3 directions that are marked, most of which you know to either be dangerous in some way or, you know, something you don't know. Like the mine to the north, you don't know anything about yet.
right. I'm looking for any kind of possible civilization.
This is a hand-drawn map. It's
Right.
basically got like 5 points on it, and there's not much of a
Right.
notation of where they came from.
It's
Right.
a Sharpie drawing.
Yeah, I mean, this is like basically they tanned a hide, pulled it over a frame, and started making a map. Even though none of them are cartographers, and none of them really like as you've started to explore, like when you guys went down towards the westerly direction. Yeah, the map shows it being in the west. The compass in the building is correct mostly, but it's certainly not accurate in any way. It's not exactly west from you. It's there's curves to the walking roads and things like that. So it's definitely a rookie's first attempt at a map.
Okay. Well, I guess I can't really see anything. I'll just I'm gonna go outside real quick. I'll be right back. Not going far.
Boom, he's dead.
Yeah.
Rocks fall, Tyken dies.
And, when I go outside, I'm gonna Radiant Soul my wings out and then just fly up. We talked about this last week.
Yep. What's the distance again that you can go up?
30 feet fly speed. So if I double that with my action,
60, and you have a minute, but you need to use 30 to go up and 30 to go down.
right? So total be 300 feet roughly.
Yeah, something like that. You don't make it quite 300 feet. There is a ceiling above you eventually.
Right.
But
Yeah,
you get above the
I-
trees.
I just
And in this space, you see, like I said, off to your west is a fairly large, true swamp, and lots of standing water, trees that stand up out of it. But there's a deep fog over most of it. Like, you know that there's water there because you were there last night, but you can't see much. There's just this large bowl of fog around all of it. You see off to the north, it's kind of hard because everything's dark, but whatever. Off to the north, you would see a large, the cavern wall isn't that far from your longhouse. You start to see the beginnings of a mining camp that they had maybe started work on. You see just the entrance of a mine, but you can't see within. Obviously, that'd be an exceptional sight.
right.
And then off to your east, you see for the first time the campsite that isn't very far at all from your longhouse that is decimated, full of bodies and things of the such. You do actually notice some large wolf or dog-like creatures prowling the campsite, but they break off into the woods, kind of moving more north away from it. But they, as you were going up, you look over there and there's some strange wolf-like creatures moving. But they disappear into the woods fairly quickly and you lose sight. And then of course, to the direction you came from the south, you see the rivers that start to spill down the hills through the mire and everything. So, you would notice to your, a second, gotta use my brain. It'd be to your northwest, you would notice the ruins of a tower of some kind sticking above the trees, a large stone tower or structure. But it's clearly been broken down in a lot of ways. You only see half of the tower's head that sticks through the trees. But you do notice ruins in that direction.
Since I have the map, I'll just as I'm up there,
Yeah,
kind of marking on the
Definitely.
map things that aren't on there.
level 3 characters that can fly and write maps, yeah.
I mean, I'll roll
You're
for
not
it.
incorrect. No, you're totally good, man. I believe in you. You got this. 2 seconds. Fucked up. But yeah, that's what you see. Ruined tower, and then the things you already knew about.
No actual signs of a village where people are actively living. Anything.
No, you don't see any signs of life other than the things that surround your camp. Obviously, people were here at some point, now long dead. And then you quickly fly back down so you don't shatter your legs and spine.
Right, and then are my wings still looking like they should?
They look mostly correct. There's a few feathers that have fallen out, but they're not
Right.
ruined in any way.
Okay.
They don't look entirely healthy, but they don't look unwell either.
This is the first time I would have seen them
Yeah.
since the incident.
The
Go ahead
bunch.
and give me an investigation check as you take a heartbeat to look at your wings.
11.
11. You notice under where one of the feathers has fallen out, on the actual, kind of ethereal flesh, because these aren't true wings, they're just kind of a projection. In the, semi-translucent flesh, you notice like the marking of a square, almost like a rune that's appeared there. It's like a deep red, and it almost looks like a tattoo. But it's like this strange square with kind of knife's edges on each of the corners that stick out. Yeah, you would notice that. And you would know, because you paid some very close attention to things about this. It's the same symbol that you've seen on the dagger and you saw at the blacksmith's hut. A maker's mark of some kind. Seared into your very spirit, friend.
Okay. My wings away and back in.
Beautiful. Come back in and sit the mat back down on the hooks that it sits upon usually on the wall.
Yep. So, I was able to find a few things. Just kind of point out what I jotted down and relay whatever information I have.
Yep.
What I saw. Not including my wing.
Naturally.
Well done. Anything of import?
No real sign of an active, living anywhere.
Mitra's going to take them out and make her own adjustments to it based off of what she's seen.
Yep. You scratch out the markers for the swamp and move them a little further south as the road bends more that direction. You having a keen mind for these things to some degree. You correct a lot of the issues that the rookies made when they first made the map, as best you can.
Sorry, you guys were saying? Like he does this quietly. She's just like, oh, well.
I guess the question is, what direction do we go now? Do we...
Do we what?
I think anywhere we go is going to be dangerous.
Of course, but some areas are more dangerous than others, are they
What
not?
options are there? There's a
mine.
weird warded off area, there's a swamp, there's a mine.
We know what happens off into the forest. Perhaps it's best to venture towards the mines.
Laura will just remain quiet.
Well, the mines might have some sort of potential supplies. I mean, we know this place is relatively safe. So we can set this
For
as-
now.
For now. So we could set this as some sort of base camp for now, until we can find maybe more information on where we need to go to get out of here. The mine might have that information, might have supply, information about possible supplies that's coming in, how they got here, the mining operation.
This is better than doing nothing.
That's right. People don't mine just for... I mean, there must be a settlement nearby. Maybe underneath it, I don't know. Maybe it leads somewhere.
Possibly.
So you all head to the mine then?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, why not?
You gather your things and your party, walk around the road that leads around the entire longhouse, and start the path north. It takes a fair while, probably close to 30 minutes or so, about a half hour. Eventually you arrive at the less of a camp, more of like the things they would need to process ore. They've got these pans, and there's piles of heavy stones that look to be laden with iron. They've started to oxidize and rust. There's a fairly large stone structure with lots of mud that's been wrapped around it to make it into a semi-functional smelter. And then, of course, there's the mine entrance itself with all of the amenities that you would expect in terms of wood holding up the opening and, a beaten walking path inside that is clearly more used than the rest of the ground around it. It pushes into the darkness below. I know most of you have dark vision. Fuck, I don't remember.
Was there any, before we go down into the mine, was there any kind of actual, mining office settlement, right?
No buildings at all, no. Over the course of this last day here in the Longhouse, you start to think that this was probably a family. They were homesteaders in some way, or at least a group that were trying to homestead. They certainly don't have the professionalism of a company doing something, or, a prince who would be building buildings and having hirelings to do things for him. So certainly more of a group of people trying to break away from something and get far away from everyone.
Right.
The mine itself is immediately curving off and down to the right at a fairly steep incline. There aren't tracks laid for a cart or anything, but it looks like it's still walkable. It's just going to be steep coming back up. If you'd like to go inside, of course.
Well, better check it for anything.
Go inside, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay. You guys venture forth deeper into the mine, curving around for a time. They very clearly were not miners by trade. Tyken, there are plenty of mines in Whitespire, and I guess for you as well, Lara, and even you, Shaenda. Mines are typically a very well-organized operation. They run very straight lines to be very efficient and safe. And this thing is spidering along natural caves as best it can. Most of them seem, picked clean of any ore for a time until you push in, several hundred feet. And the curve starts to vary kind of hard to the left and deeper down. And as you're walking through, you notice that the right wall starts to fall away and crack and open into an actual natural cavern. There's a large pool of water here that stands very still. It's exceptionally clear, and there are some crystals that lay within it. Beneath the surface that emit some dim light to give you something to see inside. But the thing that catches all of your eyes as you kind of just saunter through this mine is the kind of 2-foot tall-ish, very short form of a humanoid flying above the water, maybe 3-4 feet. Deep blue skin, completely black pupilless eyes, small wings that beat very fast, this strange sparkle that hangs around this creature. You have heard... I'm sorry?
Does it look similar to the one little thing we found that one time we're talking about?
It's not rabbit-like. This is a very clearly...
No. The little fairy thing, way early on, we were on our way.
No, it doesn't appear to be a method, if that's what you're talking about.
I couldn't figure out. I couldn't remember what the name of it was called.
No, this one's very clearly humanoid. It has a human-structured face, just huge black pupilless eyes. All of you growing up down here heard wives' tales about deep pixies. And it certainly fits the build. I mean, this strange little creature is just kind of exploring and doing its thing, and the second that it sees all of you saunter down into its area, it vanishes from sight. And you're just left in this kind of open cavern with this deep pool of water and these crystals. You can still hear its wings beating in the area, but you have no idea where it goes.
Hello?
Your voice rings out across the cave walls, bouncing back at you. No response.
We're not here to hurt you.
Well, let's not make any promises.
Still nothing, I assume.
Nothing at all.
We just explored the cave.
You do notice that the mine keeps going past this point, but this is like a break in the wall that they hit naturally, and they seem to have left alone. If any of you go over and, test the water, it isn't, it's fresh water. It seems very clean. But it just sits mostly stagnant. Although you do feel a slight pulling current in it. It's, pulling down deeper into the hole that it's in.
DM question: what would Mitra know about these creatures, if anything?
I mean, you've heard legends of them being excitable, helpful things. You've heard wives' tales that a pixie would steal you if you wandered off too far from the camp as a kid. It's kind of that whole, it's folklore, and you're not sure what's fact from fiction.
Okay. She's going to look at the others and then, kind of like surprised that they don't understand what she means just by looking at them. She elaborates verbally and says, maybe it's best we leave the creature be.
Yep.
Any disagreements?
No, not really.
Good with that.
Mitra nods. And she continues down into the mine. Then,
Okay.
with the
Mitra
assumption
makes
everyone
a move.
follows him. Her.
I think that's a first. I've never heard somebody forget their own character's gender.
You know how it is. A bada bing, a bada boom.
Fucking gabagool.
Do we ever see this creature again? The pixie thing?
You haven't seen it yet. I mean,
Well, I mean, after we move on, do we ever? When we start moving
No.
again, does it pop back out or anything? No.
you didn't even see it hide. It literally looked at you, locked eyes with your group, and then just disappeared right in front of you.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's just a local pixie dust dealer.
Misunderstood. I thought you meant like vanish behind something. Like.
No, it legitimately, in front of your very eyes, turned invisible. So you continue down the path, progressing deeper and deeper into this mine. It curves several times. At this point, you're hundreds of feet below the ground, or at least out of the cave you're in. And as you walk, the space gets exceptionally dark. Who among you has dark vision currently?
Who among us?
Amogos.
I'm gonna space someone.
Mitra does not have dark vision.
Okay. And Asher doesn't as well?
Yeah,
Or,
of course.
sorry, Shanda.
Oh, he doesn't either.
So you guys are kind of paired off, I assume, then? Probably Shanda with Lara and Mitra with Tyken?
I mean, if I know they are having trouble seeing, I'll just light up the hammer.
Oh, of course, Shanda hits his forehead and casts.
Right.
So you both create your sources of light and start walking around with better vision for everyone. You guys push for a time, and eventually the steepness of the mine falls off, and it starts to fall flat and start to be in straighter lines as well. The wood here is significantly older. The wood that holds up these tunnels is significantly older than the wood at the entrance. It seems like they may have broken through into someone's actual mine, like a different mine. The style of the digging is different. The wood that's being used is a much higher quality. You start to stumble over track for carts to move. And as you guys move deeper within, you now know that this is going to go for a while. You've hit the point where it's like, this isn't just going to end. So keep that in mind, that it may take you some time to get back out now.
It's good though. Look, it looks like a good, fucking mine. It means people, right?
Mitra will pause and float the suggestion as to whether we have enough resources to continue and be prepared for nasty happenings, maybe.
Also, point of clarification, Mitra, you did not bring the black eye with you, correct? You left it in the longhouse?
You see, I was thinking about that. I swear to you, I was thinking about that, and I was thinking, oh man, wouldn't it be cool if she just had a length of rope and she like tied it to her back, and like so she could have the gem on her, and so her hands are free, that sort of thing. And I just never fucking said it. I was thinking that would be so cool, but I was thinking about the cheese as well, and so that like kind of just like left my mind.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, just gotta read it too. That's funny. So, I mean, I would have liked to, but I'm perfectly fine with saying that, oh yeah, she totally left it. I just don't know if she would leave something like that.
I
behind,
think
right?
it's an important item for all of you.
I can tell you
Yeah,
right now, it would not have been left.
Yeah, no, that's
if
what I'm
Peach
thinking.
was not gonna carry it, Tyken would have attempted to carry it.
Yeah,
So
no,
we'll
that's
say-
Getting
It failed
left-
miserably.
It's not getting left by itself in a woods
Yeah,
somewhere.
that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
So we'll say, for the sake of brevity and for the sake of good storytelling, that Mitra took some time to tie some rope and create a backpack-style sling for this thing.
Yeah, I thought it was on the belly.
But you now carry it without use of your arms as much. But it is certainly not light by any means. It definitely, because you're so strong, you still keep up with the group, but it is certainly a point of like, this kind of sucks. I don't want to carry this forever. But you guys continue down this path for quite some time. At a few points, you meet crossroads, where the track splits off to the left and the right, and it wraps back around on itself a few times, creating these kind of like eyelet circular caves where you can, walk in a free circle, and the walls open up a little bit. There's like small areas with these tables and tools, where you can tell people have worked in these spaces before.
Can we use tools to draw arrows or something?
Absolutely.
Not get fucking lost in there.
Yeah, you actually find some pieces of like white chalk that you can leave markers with. It seems like that's what their idea was as well. So you spend some time devising a different system than they're using so you don't get confused by their old marks.
Okay, so a triangle means a circle means going right, and a square means going left. Everyone's following? Okay, pop quiz. What's a circle?
Why don't we just use regular arrows?
Because there's already arrows everywhere.
Just make them a different color.
We only have one type of chalk.
There's different types of chalk.
Okay. Make a different kind of arrow.
Why don't you do it? Here, the chalk.
Okay, so Laura will grab the chalk and just literally make an arrow, but like way bigger and like filled in instead of, I don't know what the previous arrow was.
I liked my system better.
It's too confusing.
Let's
Whatever.
just say we just figure out a system that keeps us from going into the same place.
Yeah. Why don't we have our dear Lara roll an intelligence check for me?
Look at simple squares and circles.
I rolled a 3.
Beautiful. You feel that you've made a great system that will not lead you in circles at all.
Mitra's gonna kind of like look and be like, perhaps I can try something.
Common sense.
I want to try comments. She's going to use at least her understanding of giant and just at least a few runes that she knows, and she's going to at least use those to kind of, what would I say? Almost like a relay. Like the more of those you see, it's kind of like implies you're going in one direction. The less of them you see, you are going in the opposite direction. That sort of thing. And because this is too big brain for me, I'm just wanting to combine this with the Wanderer feature, because she at least knows the general layout. So not maybe exact like hyper specific things, but she at least knows. Okay, this way, this way, this way, and that's that way. That sort of thing. So it's kind of like dumbing it down for everyone else, that in case they do get split up, God forbid, they would at least have an idea where to go. So more of the same thing says, yeah, this is the way you're going, and less of the same thing means you're not going in that way.
Okay.
It's smarter in my head than it is out loud.
Through combined use of, you being fairly good at keeping your location by way of survival, and using runes that are not akin to the arrows that are drawn everywhere here, you think you've left a fairly good trail for yourself. As you guys are walking, leaving marks, you finally stop walking in circles from Lara's first attempt, and keep a good path, punching deeper and deeper into these mines. Eventually, you guys arrive at, for lack of a better term, another cave breakthrough point where the tracks even fall off. They kind of lean off the edge here. This one path leading out into an opening, and you can now see the base of the ruined tower that you saw before. You've traveled in a windabout way further off, due west than you thought you had originally, but you can see this massive crack that leads to the lair you were on before, and a massive city itself, or not a city, but rather one large castle or keep, stands before you, with the tower that actually punches through one of the lairs and reaches higher into another. A sign that someone of great affluence and good construction knowledge was certainly here at some point. And that is where we're going to end it for tonight.
Oh, fuck that.
Wow, that was a crazy ass session. Holy guacamole. Laura survived, yeah! Woo, yeah!
I survived.
You did it. You get the gold star of survival.
And insanity? What?
Well, huh? Insanity? That's what
Insanity.
Nah, I think it's really funny that it's like everyone's kind of like, hey man, why are you doing this? And she's like, don't worry about it. And she tells one person why she did